Good evening, welcome back to Newcastle. And if there is anybody here, as usual, can you let me know that you can see things and that you can hear me? Hopefully, if there is somebody here, a bit short on people waiting for it tonight, but if there is someone here, then please let me know. Is everything okay your end? We've got a transfer window headache, as well as some very difficult games coming up, because we've had the FA Cup draw and we've drawn Manchester United, the EFL Cup. We've drawn Manchester United in the EFL Cup. So that will follow straight after the Chelsea game. Now, it was advertised as the top two, but I'm not quite sure what happened because suddenly Liverpool have... Hi, Mercury, how you doing? And suddenly Liverpool have just, for some reason, jumped over us. When we finished the last episode, we were definitely top and Chelsea were second. But I don't know how that's happened, whether the FA have had a recount. But I do know that Liverpool have scored more goals than us. I was trying to work it out what happened. But it doesn't matter. We're still on 100%. Looking at the schedule, we had a good start. We beat Everton and we thrashed Manchester City 5-0 last time. And then we had that strange game against Southampton where we had to work really hard to actually get the victory there. Not quite sure what that was about. Do believe it was the first of our tests because these are two big games coming up now. Norwich, we've got to be confident about beating Norwich, but you never know with my record. So we'll have to see what happens. In terms of the transfer window, we have a headache because I'm looking at the squad and in midfield, we could be slightly short. Euro is going to have to move up and play in midfield, but I actually only have 4 midfielders, and that is going to be a big headache. Larson wants to move. He's desperate to move. Ward-Prowse is not going to be getting much game time, and Botman is also desperate to move. So I have just 4 midfielders going into a fixture list which is absolutely horrific. I've been looking for a midfielder. There's nothing really available. I've got my scouts looking at a couple of players, especially this Thiago de Oliveira. We're not going to have time to get a report on him. 21 million to 27 mil. Young kid. Hey, yes, how are you doing? Good to see you, mate. And he's young. He's got good tackling, his marking is good, and that's what I really need from these boys. But his mentals are a little bit dodgy. Good physicals, I think, looking at it. But he would be a last resort. I do have to have more than 4 midfielders as we go into this season. One other thing that has happened, I don't think it's happened yet, but I have decided to bring Boyomo back from his loan. He will be an extra body that we have in defence. It's possible, given that we've only got 27 mil, and we've got that because we let Muani go. I think we're going to struggle to bring players in. So I've brought Boyomo back, who can also help out at central defence, and then we can send Lenny Yoro up to midfield. I am struggling here, and we need to make a few sales. We've got 3 players who are really unhappy, and I'm trying to sell them. And one of them is Botman, the other one is Doig and Larson and Stan. We've got 4 players who could go out. Good evening, Stephen. Good to see you. So if we can sell those 4 players, we're going to make a lot of money. And then hopefully the transfer window will close in a day. We're just going to have to see what happens. Botman's very annoyed. He thinks I haven't been trying hard enough. I've been putting him up for sale in the transfer room for the last 7 days, and nobody wants him. It's not my fault. This is a difficult game, Chelsea, but given the fact that we beat Manchester City by attacking them, I think that's what I'm going to do. the line is a bit of a problem for me. Chelsea play... Hi, Blues. How you doing, my friend? Chelsea play with wing play, and they have a very good passing team, and I am tempted to pull the line back a little bit early on and just see if they are trying to get these diagonal balls past our defenders. I really don't know. My plan would be to bring the wing backs inside if it's possible. But I don't know. I'm going to start with a higher line, a positive attitude. The team selection, it almost picks itself at the moment. I've decided to go with Frimpong rather than Peterson. I think Frimpong's been playing a little bit better than Peterson. And if Dowig goes, I've also got a left back problem. There are options for people to come in at left back, though. It's really in midfield. I'm really worried. Hey, Simon, how are you doing? And Jesus Abbott still lacking in match fitness, but I've got to play him because he's... Oh, I've got the sound on again, have I? I've been playing the Ipswich stuff this afternoon, and the sound is still on. So, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. In terms of the opposition, I'm going to leave it pretty much to the assistant, but Conor Gallagher is in extremely good form, and I'm not quite sure why he wants him on his weaker foot. It doesn't make that much difference. Muani starts for Chelsea. He has been sold to Chelsea for 30-something million, and he will start for Chelsea. So, being as he's new to the team, should we focus play down the left-hand side? We are quite strong down the left-hand side, but we'll leave it for now. I'm going to try and outpass Chelsea. That's the plan. We are slightly better as a passing team than Chelsea, and so I'm going to try and outpass them. So I've lowered the tempo. I'm going to play out of defence, be very patient, and see what happens here. I don't feel very optimistic for some reason. I'm kind of like very wary of these two big games coming up, especially after that Southampton game, and I do need big games from these players. They are not familiar with each other at the moment. However, I do think that it's in the second half of the season where we have good strength in depth, apart from midfield, that we might do better. Once they are familiar with each other, we might do better in the second half of the season. And we might have to take a few bitter blows early on. Not quite sure what happened there, but something happened. And the match engine decided it wasn't worth looking at. So we need to, excuse me, we need to just keep the ball. I want to try and outpass them. We're going to play with a positive mentality, try and attack more than we were able to attack against Southampton. And we beat Manchester City 5-0. What can we do against Chelsea? We've been given offside there. And this offside is really something about familiarity, I think. I'm not quite sure why we've got 5 in the back line there. Again, that's about familiarity. And Wirtz has a chance. And it's come off for a corner. We're taking the game to them at the moment. Chelsea, attacking-wise, I don't know. They've got so many options in attack, and they're very good players, all of them. It's really screwing me up in terms of my fantasy team. That's a penalty, ref. Didn't give it. I don't get many of them. As the opposition just need to hiccup in my penalty area, and they get them given. And another chance goes over the crossbar. So whatever happens here, I don't think it's a big deal this early in the season. But my thoughts really are in the transfer window. Transfer window deadline day is going to be a drama. Because unless I get these players in, when it comes to Europe, I'm going to have trouble rotating. We're definitely, at the moment, outpassing Chelsea. Even though we haven't had the possession, we've got the highlights, and we seem to be keeping the ball quite nicely, and Gray fires it over the bar. So we got Muani from Newcastle playing for Chelsea, and we've got Gray from Chelsea playing for Newcastle here. And it's going to be a strange game, this. Who is it going to be returning to playing against their old club who's going to win the day? I'm absolutely pessimistic. So pessimistic that I've made Salah my captain in the Fantasy Premier team. So that's how optimistic I am. I don't think that they are going to do very well at all. And Gallagher, I have noted from reports that he is playing very well at the moment, and we do need to keep a close eye on him. It does worry me that my set-piece coach is only leaving one back on set pieces, but a lot of things worry me about my set-piece coach. But maybe I need to replace him. Nicely done, but unfortunately the pass couldn't find its man. And well done to Gray, tracking back there. That looked pretty good to me. Frimpong into Gray, flick on, can't find his man, and offside again. That's familiarity, isn't it? That's the game telling me the team are not familiar with each other at the moment. But we are taking the game to Chelsea. I'm not pressing them. I don't want to go into an all-out press. They are a good passing team. We're just slightly better than them. So I'd rather conserve energy for later when we might need it. And that probably sounds like a better plan to me. Lovely tackle. Kanate. Come on, Kanate. We need you to have a big season this season. And that's a nice pass over the top. Can he get a cross in? No, we can't. It's gone out for a corner. Do I expect to lose, what, here or with Manchester United, Stephen? I don't think United are going to sell too many. Nobody wants them. Apart from McTominay might be going, and Neves has made it 1-0, but has it been given offside? Somebody was offside there. What a strike that was. Who knows? It's very difficult to sell players in FM. They said this year they were making it easier with the intermediaries and what have you. Doesn't seem to have made a blind bit of difference. I asked one of the intermediaries about Botman. He just came back and said, nobody's got the money, I'm afraid. And so it is very difficult to sell players in FM. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think we probably will sell one or two of them. They're all exact the same positions. Might need a change of tactic then, yes. Might if you've got too many centre backs there or midfielders, put more in that position. And then you're going to struggle in terms of them getting to know the tactic. But if they are that good, then bring them in and work out how to play with them. That's probably what I would do, bring them in, or at least two of them, because if nothing else, they're going to make you money in the future, and I would bring them in. Once you get a blue, once in a blue, yeah, you will, once in a blue moon, yeah, I agree with you, and well done, nicely defended. But Chelsea are coming back at us. We had a good start. Chelsea are coming back at us at the moment. I hope that we're good enough to win this, especially at home. And I should have told them in the pre-match talk that our home form is important to us. It could be make or break. And that's a bad foul on Wirtz again. I don't know why that goal was disallowed. It looked like a perfectly good goal to me. So I'm really not quite sure why it was disallowed, but there you go. Sometimes in FM you don't get any explanation. And who is it down? Who's injured? Neves is injured. How bad is he injured is the question. We'll keep an eye on his little heart down there. He's quite badly injured as well. His morale is quite poor. I'm going to have to stop it to go and have a look at how badly. He's not gonna make it. So probably gonna have to take him off, and that is a midfielder. Of course, it's a midfielder. And I think Landerson is probably the best bet at this point in time. And this is so FM. It knows I have only 4 midfielders, and now it's taken one out. This is so... Am I going to go into the season, FM, with 3 midfielders and no rotation options? That's going to be interesting. I mean, what happens if it injures another 2? I'm really going to be really up the creek without a paddle. Neves is still on the pitch at the moment. I don't know why. But he has got a pot on. He has hit the post. We've got a chance and it's saved. And we're just not clicking at the moment. Ah, boy. Just... with element, yeah, well, I think it's going to be... You can't go into a season with 3 midfielders. And one of them is a central defender. And I guess that people like Anderson then won't be sold, because the game will know I can't go into the season without midfielders. So that might happen. But then I'm playing with a squad player who's not happy. So we've got transfer window headaches. Chance! Another chance! Their goalkeeper's having a blinder today. He's made 3 absolute belting saves. Oh boy. It does worry me a little bit. Mudryk. I have to keep an eye on Mudryk. We've put Gallagher to sleep. In fact, his passing isn't very good. By type marking him, he's not really in the game. But we have to keep an eye on Mudryk. Could be the danger man. Go on, Tonali. Oh, that's a terrible, terrible shot from Valesso. I struggled with selection. Do I play Valesso or do I play Kamalo? Kamalo's been scoring a couple of goals. I decided in the end to rest Kamalo. Just play Andy's crazy tactic. Andy actually went on holiday and played it through to the end of the season and won the title. And probably scored a lot of goals. Come on, boys. Oh, how many times are we going to hit the post then, FM? How many times? We're totally annihilating them. I don't think I need to do anything at the moment. I consider those shots on target. If it hits the woodwork, I think that's a shot on target. I don't think I need to make any changes. We're taking them apart here at the moment. Chelsea have not attacked. And again, another opportunity. Valesso's not having a great game. I refuse to buy these ratings unless they're in green. I think the only time these ratings reflect what's going on, what I see, at least, is when they're in green. And we are creating chances, just not good chances. 4 on target, is that enough? XG 1.22. I think it's enough. 50% is definitely enough to not make any changes at this point. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? I don't think it likes me at all. There's another save by the goalkeeper. Florian Wirtz has had so many chances. Come on, boys. Come on. Just nod one in from this corner. Jesus Abba on the near post. Go on, Sam. No, the goalkeeper's claimed it. And we cannot, for all our dominance in this game, we cannot put the ball in the back of the net. Now, that could be a function of me changing the passing style. I wanted to outpass Chelsea. I thought we could outpass Chelsea. And that might be because I've slowed the tempo down to do that. That might be the reason why we're just not getting our shots on target. When you don't get I was worried about Mudryk, wasn't I? Playing on this left where I've got this attacking wing back. Was quite worried about Mudryk, but that was a poor shot from Mudryk. Should have done better. And there he is again, unmarked. And so I think I need to tight mark Mudryk. He did look earlier on like he was going to be a menace. And so somebody needs to be on him before the ball comes to him. And another corner and just wide from Chelsea. They've threatened from 2 set pieces, I think. That's all. Mudryk had one little chance, but with a better team. And I don't want us pressing up that high up the pitch. I wonder if I come back into a mid-block. Just give them the territory there. Would we do slightly better? I think I probably need to up the... And he's offside. Konate's offside there by a mile. I could come back into a mid-block. Just give them their own half. Let them come out. And then if we go a little up a notch in terms of our passing directness, and perhaps we might get a little bit more joy. Something to think about for the last half hour if we can't break this. We got a 50% shots on target ratio. And that is... the scoreline does not reflect the play. You weren't that bad. Keep going. Nobody's playing really badly. Gray, of course, Gray, who's one of the best players in the world in FM at the moment, he's on a 6.5. I expect that, FM. You did it to me with Florian Wirtz last season. I expect you to do it with Gray as well. There's always first season blues. He's going to have a dreadful, dreadful time. I don't think that's right. Although we haven't seen Muani either. Muani's been very absent. He's been conspicuous by his absence. And Chelsea just paid 30-something million for him. So both strikers... I reckon your players are shooting too far out. I think I'm already on work the ball into the box, yeah. They are players who naturally take a shot. It's going to be very difficult to control them, all of them. And it might be just a change in personnel might do it. And Suwane, who's also quite disgruntled at the moment, he might come on. And they might not tight mark him because they don't see him as a threat. Kumalo is not seen as a threat, but he's not on the bench today, Kumalo. So Suwane might be the one who they don't see as a threat and they're not marking. And he might make the difference. And that's a poor touch. Who was that? Florian Wirtz, was it? And it's very even in terms of the contest itself, in terms of the stats. We've created more chances, we just haven't taken them. And that was, what was Konate doing there? Attack the far post, man. But certainly I don't think I need to change anything in terms of the way we are playing against Chelsea. It's just, can we score? As we're coming up to 60 minutes, the only thing I can try is that go into a mid-block, bring them out a little bit more, get them feeling a little bit more confident, and then hit them on the break. It's the only thing I can think of. We've got bags of pace and ability up front, just not making the most of it. So somehow I've got to try and find a way to open up the Chelsea defence. There's no one. Mudryk is a little bit of a nuisance, and Luquez has had 2 key passes as well, but at the moment I can't tight mark Luquez. He's playing as a deep lying forward. I do need to go and make some changes. I think maybe it's the personnel. That is the problem. Canate, I don't think... It's grey, not Canate. So I'm going to bring on Suone for grey. He can't go on playing that badly, surely. And Frimpong is having a poor game. So I'll bring Peterson on. And Valesso is also poor. I've not been impressed with Valesso. So, actually, no. I'm going to bring on this boy, Carioca. He's got a big reputation. He's young, but he's got a big reputation. So he might be the man who can make the difference. And his foot is... I'm going to put Wirtz as the attacking mid. And Carioca can come on as the supporting mid. Let's see if these changes make a difference. And if nothing's happened by 75 minutes, I might come into a mid-block and then go counter-attacking against them. That might be my plan on 75 minutes. But I can't think of anything else that I can do. I haven't. There must be a lot of tutorials on that Mercury, but it's a very simple thing to do. Download it, put it in the skins folder, and then you just go into your, before you start, change it over on the skins section. We've got Florian Wirtz, who's actually very tired as well as Tonali. That seems to happen a lot in FM. That when you got your last substitution, there's usually two who are very, very tired. We have three. Canate's not very feeling very good either. But one of them, Arwell Davis, now has joined them. So it probably is better. Wirtz can keep going. He's on a 7. He can keep going. Probably better to change the wing back where he can come off the tackles now. He doesn't want to tackle harder. And we'll I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to come into a mid block, and I'm going to up the passing directness and go slightly higher just to see if we can't break them down that way. We'll come into a mid block. See if we can't get behind them. We'll give it a try anyway. I might have got it right, I might have got it wrong. But we don't look like we're going to score. So something, if I make a small change, something might happen. The goalkeeper's come a long way for that. Canate's got the ball, and if he'd got it into the middle... Could do. Could try a playmaker. It just doesn't fit the squad then. I could make one of the attacking mids into an attacking playmaker. The start hasn't been bad. We've had a very, very good start to the season. So do I want to make panic changes at this point? Not really sure. But maybe in the next game we can play Wirtz as a playmaker, or one of the two midfielders as a playmaker. What I don't want to do is Chelsea to score now after we've dominated this game. It's like FM will do it one day to me. I don't want it to be this one, and they are going to score. They know we've charged it down, and Suone has a poor touch there, but Wirtz has picked it up. Now go on, this is what we're going to do, release him. If he'd seen his run, then he could have released him into the space there, but not to be. We'll keep doing what we're doing. Tonoli probably needs to come off the tackles a little bit now. Don't want a red card. And it is interesting how that we've got a midfielder injured, isn't it? Very interesting, FM. I would never have suspected you would do that. Now that I've got so many wing backs, you've forgotten about my wing backs, haven't you? Chance? Nope, not going to be. we've been the better team, I think. And we just haven't been able to score, unfortunately. I made a little change. It hasn't made much difference, but that's the third time we have hit the post. FM is a cruel game sometimes, and even he's not playing at his best either. He's got a super reputation, that boy. He's just young, and we've completely beaten Chelsea, just haven't got the goal. Is this it though? Last chance. Landerson has a shot, but it doesn't go in. I think is he going to allow time for the corner? Probably, but I don't feel very optimistic we'll score from this corner. Let's get to the dressing room. I guess a 0-0 draw against Chelsea will suffice. We just weren't good enough. And looking at Landerson, he's had a tidy game since he came on. 6.6. I sometimes forget that 6.6 or 6.7 is a tidy game. It's not a brilliant game, but it's a tidy game. And that was poor. Really poor. Do I say we were unlucky? Yeah, I'm going to say I'm disappointed. We should have won that, given the chances that we created. Now I've got to think about the transfer window. We've gone top temporarily, but I'm sure Liverpool will have something to say about that. I was not happy about that performance. Maybe some heads have to roll. I think we have a game very quickly, don't we? Yeah, so I'm going to rest them. I always do this. It just always makes sense to me to rest these boys who are tired, especially when you've got 2 games in a week. Just give them the day off, and you get better hearts when you go into the next fixture if you do that. So not the start that I wanted, but I was worried we weren't going to beat Chelsea. So 6.7, 6.8. Hello, Callum, mate. How you doing? 6.7, 6.8, I think is tidy. Decent game, 6.6, coming off the bench. 6.6 suggests to me he hasn't done anything majorly wrong. He's just had a decent game. He's not been brilliant. He's just been there. Hasn't made any errors, but hasn't been spectacular. Leeds 1, Southampton 1. Southampton, a surprise team. They're in 10th. And Manchester City lost to Leicester, did they? That's a shocker. The transfer window slams shut on Monday. Are you looking to do business? What shall I tell him? We're looking at our options. There's still a chance if the game is nice to me. If it's not, then we've got no chance. I think what we'll do... Who is this? I've never heard of him. Who's Milanovic? A striker. I don't need another striker, I don't think. The game is suggesting that I do. 31 million. What's he like as a striker? 28 years old. He's not going to set the world on fire, is he? No time to scout him. He's quite tall. He's a target forward, and I don't have room for a target forward. And I don't want to loan players, sorry. I'm not interested. And if you're not willing to dip into your wallets, then you ain't getting him. 9 deals already done. Is there a possibility? Oh, I'm not answering that. Not answering that nonsense. So, here we go then. Sawon gets a wage hike. For what? For exactly what? Manchester United. Let's just have a look at this. They're not very good at set pieces. In terms of corners, that's good news, because we're not good at defending them. But they are a very good team. These are 2 big games. What's the expectation in terms of the Carabao Cup? It says be competitive in the Community Shield. Failed. We were very competitive. We lost on penalties. I think that's quite competitive myself. Be competitive. What does that mean? If we lose against Manchester United, have I failed that one as well? It'll be 2 fails. That will be really interesting. Or will they say disappointed, but we understand they were a strong opposition? Or should we just not lose? I'm going to do exactly the same against Manchester United. We're going to go at them. We're not going to worry about these big teams. I'm going to worry more about Norwich than I am about the big teams. And as I say, I think the second half of what I want to do before I go in here is go to my squad and identify who these 4 players. So Sven Botman, who's actually saying to me, feels he'll have to leave if omitted from the Premier League squad. Feels he will have to leave omitted from the Premier League club. Same, they're all the same. And I don't know why Larson is thinking that. He's in the squad. So I'm not quite sure what his beef is. Doig isn't, and at the moment Botman isn't. So I'm just going to go and we'll try an intermediary again. And we've got some interest, but not for much money. 21 to 23 mil. I think we'll have to go with it. Let's go with that one. And then the board are going to be unhappy about that. Let's go for Doig. Selling Doig. There is a player, a left back available who's quite cheap. 63 mil. Let's go for an intermediary. Where is he? No, I don't want to do that, do I? Intermediary. See, another one. No interest. Let's offer via the transfer room then. Let's reduce the price to 52 million. It seems when you're selling players, teams want to buy them for next to nothing. But if I want to buy one, I have to pay miles over the top for them. We have to take part in this. There's not much more I can do in terms of getting players out of the door. We're going to decline all this nonsense. I'm not willing to talk to the press. True, Callum, true. There is something in the transfers here. You currently have no vacant spaces. Larson and Stan. Oh, they're both not in the squad. Yeah, Guevara. Oh, no, I don't want Guevara going out. He's going to have to cover at central defence. He's not up for loan. And Moreno is also an issue, isn't he? Because he's not getting any game time. And what is the end goal of the Ipswich save? Hey, Blob, I think the Ipswich save, I don't have a goal. I want to get them through. The idea of it is just a beginner's tutorial, Blob, so that they can see what I actually do and what they have to do and what they don't have to do. I'm not willing to loan players out. They either buy them or you don't. Now, we do have an offer for Botman. 21 mil. What is his value? 40 mil. So I've had to sell him at half price. But it gets one unhappy player out of the equation. Transfer windows are so hard. So the end goal is hopefully to get promoted, and then to go through the first and second seasons of the Premier League, so that it shows people that what I would do in terms of transfers in the first season, what I would do in terms of transfers in the second season, but also the kind of players that I would look to bring in and the changes I would make to the tactic, because we can't go into the Premier League and play that tactic in the way that we're playing. So it's just a begin. It's a big beginner's tutorial blob. That's all it is. Because I know it's sometimes I was a beginner once a long time ago and I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and there was very little in terms of no, I don't want to sell Guevara or loan him. So let's get rid of those. He's staying. Otherwise, I'll have no central defenders either. I'm absolutely mad. No offers for Doig. It's wage demands. So I'll have to have a word with him and say, you have to try and find a new club yourself. You're going to have to drop your wage demands. He's made an offer for this boy. But I think I've got enough up front. I don't think I need another forward. I've got lots of cover up front. Kamalo, Wirtz, Gray, Kanate, Suone. I've got 5 forwards. I don't need another forward. I'm desperate in midfield. Who did this transfer window? It was Andy, wasn't it? Andy Kitch. He's left me absolutely nothing in midfield. So I'm going to go to this one and say no thank you. It's been rejected anyway, which is good. Yeah, thank you very much. That's good. Don't go and make another one. Still rejected. No, we're not loaning him. He's the backup in case I get injuries. And if I have 3 central defenders, you can absolutely be sure nobody is for loan. You can be absolutely sure if I've got 3 central defenders, the game will start injuring my central defenders. So you thought the match felt too slow, that my decision to go for possession against Chelsea was wrong. We should have played at a higher tempo. Is that what you're saying? Yes. You might be right. Maybe we'll go back to playing against United at a higher tempo. No room for... But there's nobody... There's nobody... That's a question from the press. I thought it was a squad update. There's nothing happening. And so I'm going to have some very unhappy players, and I'm not going to have a midfielder unless I do something. I only have 20... How much money do I have? 27 million. But I've got money coming in for Botman, don't I? How much is coming in for Botman? Botman... 21.5, so I'm probably going to get about 16 of that, 17 maybe. I've got tons of wage budget. Oh, it's testing my maths now, isn't it? And I think I might just have to go and buy one of these, desperately go and buy one of these midfielders I've identified. The other option that I have is this guy, Thiago de Oliveira, who is a defensive midfielder. Now, I have no idea how good he is. He's young. They said, to be a very good signing. But looking at, I know he can mark and tackle. Looking at his mentals, he's quite a physical player. Looking at his mentals, composure is poor. Decisions are good. He's got good concentration. I suppose I could make an offer for him to come in at DM. Otherwise, I'm really going to be short in midfield. And there's one other that I could make an offer for. We're not going to have enough money for this geezer, who is a very, very good defensive mid. So we just don't have that kind of money. I could do it on the Never Never, I suppose. And then there's a central defender, but I just don't know what to do. What do you guys think I should do? There's a defender here, 27 to 41, who is a central defender, who is a very good DM as well. We could bring him in. He's certainly got the right mentals and physicals, but he's 33 years old. It's pointless, really, even though he's still physically in good shape. So I really don't know what to do. Advise me, guys, because if I look at the squad, in terms of our midfield, we are desperately in trouble. Ward-Prowse, bringing Ward-Prowse in. I think he did it for the because we have so few homegrown players. He's got great fitness. Yeah, but you know what happens in FM? You have him for 3 months and then suddenly he starts to decline. It always happens to you, whereas other players seem to go on forever for the other teams. As soon as I bring him in at 33, his physicals are going to start to decline. I know what's going to happen. So I've got 4 midfielders. That's not enough to go into 2 competitions. Definitely not enough. These boys are going to be absolutely exhausted. Or do you think it is enough and then FM will leave my midfield alone, basically, and not do any injuries? Or what should I do? I don't know. The board will be unhappy if although they say sign high reputation players. He's high reputation. Let's go and make an offer for him. And see what kind of I think he wants a lot of money. Is it him, Tushiamani? We can't afford him, not at this point in time. It's this guy, Milatio. Still got good pace. His physicals are still excellent. His mentals are awesome. Of course, at his age they will be. And technically, he's still a good player. But as soon as I get him in, then he's going to... he's keen on joining. He's between 27 and 41. 300k. And would like a contract until 32. Is that a 1-year contract? It's our 1-year contract. What date are we in now? I can't find the date now. Yes, I can. 31. So he wants a contract. Where is he? Oh, I don't like... You can tell I do not like transfer deadline day. So he wants a contract until 32. So it's a 1-year contract. Offer 33 million. Okay, let's I mean, he's a good player. There's no doubt about it. He's a high reputation player. He wants 300 and odd in terms of his salary. And what's important is he can play at DM. He can also play at right back and centre back. And it depends on whether he wants to come in as an important player. If he does, then we're going to have real problems. Would expect to be considered among the most noteworthy. The other one is the young, who we don't know much about, Tiago de Oliveira. We just don't know enough about him. But probably he would be a squad player. And the report is there's nothing. But if we can get him in, I think, prefer to go with him. But unfortunately, he doesn't want to join us. I am really stuck. Although it doesn't, to me, look like Hugo Larsson is going anywhere. And he's a squad player. So that would give us 5 in midfield. And at centre back we will have 4. And that's why I need Guevara just to cover these 4. And one of them, Yoro, my plan is to play him, although we haven't sold Stan yet. I'm just going to see this transfer window out. There's only 7 hours to go. I don't want to buy a 33-year-old. I think it's a waste of time. And it doesn't look like I'm going to do any business in this window. Who is Sidema? He's a good player. He's a striker again. Why is he saying buy a striker? I've got a ton of players who can play in these roles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 players who can play as striker. 5 players who can play as a striker. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Abras is also a young developing player. 6. And Kumalo 7, who can play an attack in midfield. Why does he want to buy another striker? Doesn't make any sense. He should be looking here. That's what we could do, is go to the director of football and get him to suggest some proper. And boy, defensive mid. I don't want a DLP, and we don't know much about him either. 28 years old. Good mentals, I guess, if he's a squad player. But no, he doesn't excite me either. He's probably worse than what we've actually already got. Nobody is going anywhere on loan, guys. Nobody is going on loan. And Suwon is definitely not going anywhere. And perhaps that's why he was trying to bring in a striker, so we could accepted an offer for Sidema. Sidema is the striker. So now maybe I've got to go back to Suwon and get rid of Suwon. What a nightmare. He's not worth much, though. Boy. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I do not like transfer windows in FM. None of it makes any sense. We've signed him anyway. Let's go for it. My director of football obviously thinks I need another striker. I don't know why he thinks that, because now I've got 7 players in attacking midfield. Hey, Elliot, how you doing? SW, how you doing? Yes, Suwon just needs more game time. And so I'm not really sure why I'm bringing this guy in, but you never know. He might turn out to be the one at the end of the season. I can't even register him, I don't think. We'll come to that in a minute. I don't even know. Squad. He's a squad player, so that's good. He's not going to want too much game time. But unless I offload these players, I'm going to have a problem with registration in a minute. And we're not going to offload them. No, yeah, I suppose I could take that one, couldn't I? But let's see if we can get a bit more money. Let's go for 60%, 50%. And they've gone for that. So Abras can go out on loan. So that's... He's a young player. I've got 7 who can play attacking mid. So I don't need him to hang around the club. We need to see how he's doing. And so that's it for the transfer window. I think it was an absolute disaster. But nothing available. Where I wanted a player, there was nothing available. I've now got very unhappy players who I've got to somehow fit into the squad. So this is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. I think you go away and make a cup of tea while I sort this out, because this is not going to be easy. Registration wise, Botman has to be in there. He's not going to be a happy bunny. Guevara can stay out. Stan can stay out. Botman is already in. I don't know why he's complaining. Doig is already in. Why is he complaining? Larson. Is there some way I can fit him in? Is there a way I can fit him in? More Verts. I've got to get Siedemar in the squad as well. Sawone. Oh, Chris Lamb, but he's homegrown, isn't he? So that's not going to help me. No, that's not going to help me. Still got to get somebody out. Let's take Elijah Smith out. That's not going to help either. I'll put him in the Champions League squad, but I don't think that's going to help. James Ward-Prowse, let's take him out. No, it's not going to help. I've no idea what I'm doing here. Landerson, I need the midfielders. Patterson could upset him, I suppose. Patterson is looking at very little game time, although I might need him on the left. Moreno. This transfer window is an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Yeah, what do you think, guys? Who am I going to upset here? I'm going to upset quite a few, I think. Let's see, clear the selection, and then let's see what auto-select does. So, Guevara out. Moreno, yeah, I was thinking Moreno. Landerson, I can't leave a midfielder out. Doig. Oh, boy. He's left Karaoke. Well, he's under 21. And Shazavari comes in because he's trained in the nation. Sawone left out. But we've got Sidamar in there. I can't see that I can do that any better. Stan is going to be unhappy. And who's the other one he left out? Landerson. I guess I've just got to hope then that FM doesn't... Oh, he's under 21. And Dowig, not going to be very happy. So this is the part of FM that I do not like, and I've got to do the same again in a minute for the Europa League. And I'll struggle with that one as well, just as much. Oh yeah, Moreno is under 21. We saw that. Dowig and Stan are the players who are left out. And if we go and check, he wants to leave. Well, nobody wanted to buy you, so nothing much I can do about that. And now we've got to register for the Europa League, and this is just going to be just as hard. Let's auto-select, see what he does with it, because we've got a real problem. Guevara, Stan. Yeah, I'll go with that for now. Patterson out of that squad. He's going to be very upset. Harwell Davis. Josh Dowig is completely out of the picture. Probably best if I'd let him go out on loan. Kamalo out of the squad. Canote out of the squad. I haven't got any forwards, have I? Gray, Sidamar. Probably best. Let's Sidamar wants to be one of the most important players. Suwon and Kamalo. That's 2 forwards. 3 forwards out of the squad. Can't do that. Mora. Kariloka. He's not been that good, actually. Yoro, Landerson. Oh, boy. This is a nightmare. Frimpong is trained in the nation. Can't take him out anyway. Ward-Prowse has got to be in the squad, even though he's rubbish. I might struggle to put a team together if those 3 can't play. Canote's going to go nuts. And I can't see any other way to do it. 21. If I take Ward-Prowse out, can I put Canote in? Yeah. So that Ward-Prowse doesn't need to be in there. Let's try that. I'm going to upset Kamalo. So Dowig, Stan. Oi, where is it then? I just did that. I just did it. Yes. Thank you. So there we go. Players are going to come to me and say they're very unhappy in a minute. But I could tell Kamalo I want him to focus on the Premier League. No, we're not putting Sidamar in straight away. And we do need to rest some players, though. So maybe his squad is a good idea. Give some boys some playing time. Oh, he's changed his mind again. Shazavari. Oi. Oh, there's so many glitches in this game. Stop it. Shazavari, Karaoke, Sidamar, and Canote. Stop it, FM. Shazavari and Karaoke. Yeah, that's what I've got. What is he talking about? Wants me to change them over, does he? Yeah, we give him some game time. He wants him on the right. Shazavari on the right. He wants those switched over. Changed his mind. I'm going to go with his pick here. Sidamar or Kamalo. I'm going to play Kamalo. Kamalo and Kanote. We'll play Kamalo up top just to give him some game time. He has been scoring some goals. So let's just give... He wants Sidamar on the other side, does he? Not Sidamar. Kanote on the other side. Yeah, good idea. Kamalo can... His right foot is reasonable. It's probably better to do it this way. Botman, pleased at being promised to be sold at the end of the season. When did I do that? I haven't done that. Doig, pleased at being promised. I haven't told them that. This game is nuts. Pleased to be... Yeah, I haven't told you that either. Were you... And pleased that soon he'll be playing. He's not going to be playing any fixtures. This is going to be tough. Oh, we've had the fixtures for the Europa League as well, and they are tough. Lazio first up, Celtic, Roma, Atletico Bilbao, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then at the end we get 3 easier ones. Those first 5, this game has not been kind to me. This game has not been kind to me. So, more time. After speaking with Doig, the player appreciates it and was prepared to wait, as well as Larson. Oh, I'm glad that's out of the way. We can go and play some football now. And he wants to change things around. I don't. I want to play Kamalo. Since he didn't complain, though, he was left out of the European squad. And he is... I think he's a regular starter, isn't he? No, he's... his expectations are that he is a regular starter. So he's dropped his expectations. His morale is poor. Let's give him a game. I now don't feel very optimistic about this game. So many of the players are not happy. And I don't feel very optimistic going into this game. We're going to go into the game the same way as we went into Chelsea. I'm going to try upping the tempo. Maybe it's a tempo thing that caused the 0-0 draw. We'll play with a higher line. We're going to go at Manchester United, try and give them a game. We are favourites, are we? I can't say I expect because we've rotated heavily. We are the favourites here, so go and give the fans a performance to cheer for. Who got complacent? Kamalo. What's his game? Now he's motivated. Let's see if we can't win this game in the EFL Cup. I don't feel very optimistic now. Really don't feel very optimistic now. With the players' mood. And it's FM being FM. With these fixtures that it's given me. I think the second half of the season is where we might improve. I might have a chance in the January window to get another midfielder in, move out 1 or 2 players. I'm just going to have to try and keep them happy with game time until we get there. Larson is okay. Doig is okay at the moment. I like Doig. When I did the transfer window, he was one of the ones I immediately identified to keep. Nice squad player who never complained much. Got some game time and didn't complain much. So he was one that I just said, I'm going to keep you. And I identified about 15. You're staying. And he was one of them. So I like that boy. I hope he decides to stay. Go on. We got a chance. Go on, Doig. He's got a corner. And are we going to score in this game? It would be nice to get a goal, FM, in this episode. It would be nice. I'd like Kumalo to get on the score sheet. I feel really bad about leaving Kumalo out of the Europa squad. He hasn't complained, though. That's a good sign. He's like my son, that boy. And he needs to play well, though, this season, or he might be out the door. We have way too many attacking midfielders and one or two very good young prospects, and he's one of them. So it's like 3 very good young prospects. I can't keep them all. It's just let's go. I forgot to do this in my haste. Let's ask my assistant to make some changes here. I didn't even check Manchester United's probably because I'm not too bothered. Middlesbrough were losing 5. Oh my goodness me. I was actually going to be putting the game on in a little window. But I kind of thought that might use too much bandwidth. So I could actually just have a little window up here. Because I have now got TNT Sports as well through Discovery Plus. So I do have access to all the football now, although it costs a lot of money. I'm just hoping my YouTube will make enough money eventually to be able to cover both Now Sports and TNT, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to. I think I get 50 quid for this month, which they won't even pay me this month. Terrible. I don't know why I bother doing it sometimes. The stress, and Neves has missed again. How many times are we going to miss, FM? Come on, give me a goal. Come on. Oh, if you are in the chat there, drop us a like, help the channel out. See if we can't make a little bit more money. Dropping us a like will help the channel big time. I know you get fed up of YouTube creators saying that, but the reason that they say it is because it is so important, and it's likes really that tell the algorithm, send this video out to other people. It's just likes really. The more comments there are, that helps, but likes, if you get loads of likes, it just suddenly, well, wow, this video's popular, and it just sends it out to loads of people. So don't forget, drop us a like, guys. Help us out. And I know you get fed up of people saying that. I get fed up of when I'm watching YouTube videos, but we gotta say it. At least I'm not saying get us up to 100,000 likes, which a lot of them say. I wish. Are we going to beat Manchester United? We are the favourites here, even though we've got a rotated team out. We've still got some good players in there. And we are home again. Go on, Doig. Good boy. I've always liked him. He was always one of my favourites. And Neves! Finally we've got a goal. Get in! It's Neves! And I thought he was going to be injured in the last game. And, I think the transfer window will have to be looked at big time in January. And finally we've got a goal. And I'm not quite sure why FM is letting us beat Manchester United. It doesn't make any sense. Neves, a great player, but he's going to get exhausted in time. Who is this guy? Hernan Figuera. I don't want him passing the ball around like a genius and having too much space. Let's have a look. Where is he? He's a defensive player. Its passing isn't that great. His passing's actually not good at all. So I don't think we need to do anything about him at the moment. We need to be just scoring some goals. The team is set up to score goals. Now let's go and score some. And some of these young boys might be making a claim for first team football. 5-1, David. I think you're very optimistic. I love an optimist. I think if we win 2-1, I'll be very happy. Go on, Peterson. Go on, have a shot. He's just past the post. But once again, we are the dominant team. Manchester United haven't done anything. The same thing as Chelsea. The Norwich game would be quite interesting to see what the game does with Norwich. I might actually start the Norwich game in a mid-block defensive. Just like say, you are not going to score in the first 30 minutes. Boy. I mean, again, defensively, we're doing really well. I have this habit of setting up quite well defensively. I always have trouble scoring goals, though. I don't know if that's something that you guys find as well. No matter who you bring in, always have trouble scoring goals. We'll see what this C. Demar is. Penalty, ref. He's given it. He's given it. 5-0. I wish. Well, this could make it 2-0 if we've got a penalty taker on the pitch. I think it might be Tonali. But he's not playing. So who's it going to be? It's going to be João Neves, who's playing quite well, but he's not a penalty taker. But he scored. And it's 2-0. And this Manchester United team look worse than the real-life Manchester United team. So we have got a rotated team out here. Kamalo playing up top. We've got Carioca in Shazavari, Landerson, Doig, and Peterson. So this Manchester United FM team is not great. Although here they come. Who's playing at right back? Peterson. 5-star player. Show your quality, Sam. You're the opposite, Callum, are you? Defending in FM24 is really easy. I generally find that I am the best defensive team come the end of the season. I just really struggle to score goals. Even though we've set up attacking with 4 attacking players up top, I still struggle to score goals. And it's not like they're poor players. They're very good players. Very, very good players. And I very seldom are the top scorer in the league. But we've dominated this game. United have hardly been in the game. 1 key pass in the first 30 minutes. We've put loads of chances together. And we've got João Neves. I thought he was going to get injured again. Maybe he shouldn't be playing in this game. Maybe he's going to get a big injury soon. But I have got Larsson now. Højlund, yeah, he's not that good. Rasmus. I prefer to call him Rasmus because I confuse him with Haaland. Good evening, Robert. How are you doing? It didn't take me long this year to work out how to defend in FM. Did not take me long. In fact, that series of videos went out after a couple of months. Defending was quite easy. And it was interesting. Defending was what I was most worried about. And Shazavari is making a claim. Get in. 3-0 against United. This is going to be another 5-0 City result, is it? And I forgot what I was talking about then. Yeah, I found it very easy. Everybody was worried at the start of FM24 with all this new attacking movement with the inverted wing backs and the libero coming forward into midfield, and they'd enhance the attacking midfielders' movement. And people would think, how am I going to defend against this? And I did read a lot of stuff on forums at the beginning, and people were saying like the most common score is 4-3, and goals were going in. It didn't take me long to work it out, how to defend in 24. It's quite simple, really. And a lot of attention has to be paid to the quality of your defence, and then adjusting your line in order to compensate for the quality that they have. It's quite simple to work it out in the end. So that, yeah, defending I found fairly simple. Attacking, not so simple, but we are 3-0 up against United here. And FM's doing it again, isn't it? And that means I do have to be very watchful against Norwich, just like the Southampton game. Need to be very, very careful against Norwich. I wonder if Norwich will play Route 1. I have a feeling they might play Route 1. And United are just trying to play a controlled passing game here by the look of it, and they're not doing very well. We're carving them open because they're pushing their line up. They're very high line. And we're just carving them open. And maybe we're going to do better against better teams because they're going to leave us space at the back. Maybe that's what it's about this year. United are pushing up with a very high line. No, it's just in the defending videos. There's 3 videos on how to defend. And I talk a lot about the lines and the use of the lines. And also, if you watch the low block in-game management, that talks a lot about the defensive lines and why they're important and how to situate them. It's really not rocket science. If I can work it out, anybody can. It's basically the defensive line is based on the quality of your defenders. And if your defenders are poor, or you've got teams who play wing play and are looking for diagonal balls. When I'm watching the game, one of the things that I look for is diagonal balls. And what you need to do then, if your defense is... This defense is good, so we can play with a higher line. If your defense is not good in terms of decision-making, composure, concentration, you need to drop your line back a notch just to give them more time when they receive the ball, because all the goals are scored by mistakes. So if you drop your line back, if they're not very good, then you will find that they make less mistakes because they've got more time to receive the ball and distribute it. If your defense is brilliant, then push up as high as you can, and especially if they've got good pace as well. So the defensive line was easy to work out. The mid block and the low block are just to allow the opposition the space that they want at the back. So it just pulls them out, but also puts more bodies behind the ball if they're a strong team. And another chance, and Doig has hit the outside of the post. We're taking Manchester United apart. I wonder if that is their first team or whether they've... There's a boy I know, Marcos, playing for Manchester United. Played for me at Coritiba. And I sold him to Manchester United, I think for... I sold him... How much? 12.5 million. It was a club record at the time. He's a very young boy. He's now worth a lot more than that. But hasn't been playing regularly. So I was thinking about trying to steal him off United. But they just want too much money for him. And unfortunate. 4-0! Doig! See, there's my boy. Doig has made it 4-0. Preferred tactic. There's a couple, actually. I do like the three at the back that we had played at Coritiba with the attacking wing backs. That looked lovely. But I still have a passion for the 4-1-2-2-1. I still think that is a very good tactic. If you've got the players who can play that, and it might be worth training these boys up. If I've got some right wingers, I know Frimpong can play as a right winger. Peterson, I think, can play as a right winger. And if you've got those boys, that 4-1-2-2-1 is still a very, very good tactic. We just need to go and chip the keeper. But this result is astonishing. I can never work FM out. Suddenly we're like scoring goals for fun when we had all those chances against Chelsea and looked like we were never going to score. And now we're scoring goals for fun against one of the top teams. And it might be that look at where their line is. They're very high. And as we've upped the tempo, we're just catching them out at the back. They're very, very high line. I think they're playing against us with a much higher line. And that's brave. That's very brave against this Newcastle team. I would not be playing with a much higher line against this Newcastle team. No way. The pace and technical ability they've got up front, no way. Kamalo, how's he getting on? He's on a 6.9, so he's not doing too bad. And we are somehow thrashing Manchester United 4-0. Are they going to come back into this in the second half? I very much doubt it. I don't think FM's going to be that nasty and make us lose 5-4. You never know, though. But that's about as good a first half. We had a lot of shots on targets, and that makes me really happy. Nobody's playing really badly, so we'll leave it at that. I'll go to my assistant and see what he makes of Manchester United. He doesn't really make much of them at all. He wants me to close Marcos down. I wonder why. Wonder why he's perhaps he's not having a very good game. That he's decided. Yeah, 6.4. Perhaps he's decided he's young, not having a great game. Put pressure on him. We'll go with that. Don't have any problem with that. They brought Onana on, a very good player. So maybe they've rotated as well. And paid the price. Because at the moment we are romping away. That's a foul, referee. Come on. He's deep lying forwards like Hoyland. He's coming very deep. You must make sure, like if there's anybody who's not played this game before, do not mark a deep lying forward. Do not do it. What you'll find is one of your central defenders will go for a walk eventually. Peterson and Doig are our most influential players, which tells me that I should be focusing out on the flanks. Yeah, I was playing a gegenpress. Against the bigger teams, I come off the press because generally they just pass the ball around you. I signed him in my save. In my transfer window, I signed him. And I do think perhaps we should be type marking him as an advance forward. United have started playing balls over the top, which is a little bit of a worry. So who's that? Dog. So let's go and just make some changes here. So him I want type marked. I signed him in my save. He's a very good player. And who was the other one? Who put that ball over the top? Was it Babachan who put that ball over the top? I can't remember. Can't remember. But he had acres of space, and I didn't like that very much. One of the things that's always what I'm looking for: diagonal balls over the top or diagonal balls through, looking for wide players coming inside. And if they start doing that, I'm going to drop my line. And there's another one. They are going more direct now, and so it might be a good idea to drop my line just so that we deal with that nonsense. And now they won't have any joy looking for those long balls. They're going to have to try and find another way. Just gives your defenders a little bit more time. And we are blessed with good agility and balance, so they can turn. They're very fast. So they'll have trouble feeding those long balls over the top now. I think I might up my passing directness as well, because they're really pushing forward now. And we'll catch them on the counter-attack. So I think we'll do that once this highlight's over. Are they actually going to let them score 5 goals, are you, FM? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to up the passing when I'm allowed. I'm going to up the passing directness. And I'm going to make sure they're stepping up as well. Just compress things. And then hopefully we've got them sorted out. We've hopefully cut off that long ball that they've been doing. Well done, Kamala. That was almost through. Because our passing is not working at the moment. So I'm going to up the passing directness. When I'm allowed. Yeah, thank you. We'll just go slightly. And what else is I going to do? Make sure we're stepping up. I'm going to come back into a mid-block. Just to get bodies behind the ball. Slow the play down. I'll be almost like walking pace if I slow it down anymore. Somebody, it was you, yes, who told me we weren't playing at a high enough tempo. But I think looking at where they are, they're defending on the halfway line. So if I up the passing directness, there should be holes at the back that we can get players into. It's really brave of them playing with that very high line. They've got a lot of faith in their defence. A lot of faith. Landerson is having a good game. Neves has to come off. He's gonna, because I need him for the Norwich game. I mean, there is space behind them. If we can just find one pass that gets behind them. Oh, referee. Yeah, and that's what I noticed about United as well. They were trying to pass into space behind us. So lowering the line now should actually... Oh, I thought that was going in. Lowering the line should actually stop them from doing that now. And if we've got more bodies behind the ball in the mid-block as well, should stop them from doing that. For the first time, I understand what the assistant is saying there. And there they're attempting it again, but it's because the line is deeper, we were able to defend that. I'm going to ask my assistant, because they are back in this game. I'm going to ask my assistant for his observations. Cho, I want to type mark. And then I'm going to find out who it is who's making these passes. I'm going to try him. as a playmaker up there. He's already on a support duty. Let's change him to a playmaker. See if that helps us as well, creating some chances. He's having a good game, so they'll look for him, hopefully. That's a poor pass. Peterson's not playing well. See, it's always your best players who don't play very well. It's like he's the best defender that we have. It's always them who don't play very well. And it also makes it, the standard line also makes it difficult for them to get outside you as well. I don't want them closing down too much now, either of them. It's difficult enough for them to get behind us, so we don't need to close them down. But we are a bit under the cosh. It's a tale of two halves, this. But it's okay. We need to make some changes in a minute. Neves has to come off. As good a game as he's had. Why is the goalkeeper suddenly going long? Now there should be space. A good ball. No. Peterson's not playing well, is he? Oh boy, none of them are playing very well at the moment. It's the tale of two halves, this. I'm going to demand more in a minute. This is absolutely shocking. You might be right. It might be a case of slowing everything down. Usually reserve that for the last 5 minutes, but you might be right, yes. The real Manchester United defence, Stephen, I absolutely agree with you. The sooner they start playing De Ligt instead of Harry Maguire, the better. I don't care if he is new. Harry Maguire's a liability. And so much of a liability, nobody wants to buy him. That's the problem that we've got. And there's, like, that counter-attack I was looking for. Needs to be done quicker. But I can't do it any quicker than that. So let's go and make some changes after this corner. Come on, let's get number 5 and then it's all over. Go on, son. Nah. Let's go and make some changes now. So Neves has to come off. He's done his job. Larson can come on. Can he play? Oh, no, actually, Yoro can come on as the anchor. And Peterson's, according to the ratings, he's had a good game, but I don't think so. And as usual, he's not put enough. He's not put enough wing-backs on the bench. As usual, he always leaves one off. And then Landerson has had a good game. He's getting tired. Kamalo hasn't had a great game. But Sidamar can make his debut. And we'll leave it at that for now and see who gets tired. It's definitely been a game of two halves. They have changed the game. They're playing much more direct. And there's another one. And hopefully the line will hold strong. They are putting balls behind us. Nicely done. Come on, boys. Come on. We've got this. It's 4-1. We should be absolutely romping this in the second half. Let's demand more. I know you're 4-1 up, but you're playing lazily. Playing very lazily at the moment. Nicely done, Kanate. Kanate does a good job tracking back. Oh, foul referee. So 4-1, we look like we're going through to the next round. I think we might get better as the season goes on defensively. But at the moment, I'm really scared about the Liverpool game. Very, very scared. I think that Liverpool might give us a dusting again. I'm concerned it might be another 5-0. Looking at how those Liverpool forwards are attacking with so much pace. And there's so much control about the way they are playing. I just worry United's defence. And especially in defensive midfield, they'll just be running past us. I'm very worried about what the result might be on Sunday. Those forwards, Jota, Diaz and Salah, are just running past people. And United are not well known for their defensive brilliance. So it's going to have to be a very good defensive performance against them. Or we just got to hope that they don't play very well, Liverpool. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to be psyched up. So I don't think that's going to be happening. Some interesting games this weekend. Notice they're always playing the ball out to the left. Press them there. Take him out of the game is a good idea. We'll do that once this highlight's done. I haven't noticed that because I've been chatting too much. I always said it's always easier for me when I'm playing on my own because I'm totally focused on the screen and I'm watching everything. I'm just like chatting most of the time here and I forget the game is going on. Especially when I'm ahead. So let's do something about that left back then. Let's close him down. Give him less time. Or maybe even tight mark him to stop the ball coming to him. Ah, there you go. Stop the ball coming to him. Except now they'll go the other way. And they are a good team, United, and I don't know why we managed to score 4 against them in the first half. Especially with this rotated team that I've got. Really don't know why that happened. My first team could not hit the target against Chelsea. Although we did hit the post 3 times. Just put that down to bad luck. You're kidding me, Callum, really? I'll be really happy as a United fan with a draw. We've brought in a defensive mid, this Ugarte. But he's going to be a while before he gets up to speed, and there's number 5. And it's Carioca, who's got a goal. Here's his first goal for Newcastle. Absolutely shocking goalkeeping. But I'm not worried about that. We'll leave the Manchester United manager to worry about that. Shocking goalkeeping. And Carioca has got his first goal. 5-1. We'll take that. I still have a couple of subs to make. Absolute rubbish. He's not on my watch list, that's for sure. We won't be bringing him in. Absolutely shocking goalkeeping. Go on, win the ball. Come on, win the ball. It's not good enough. He's a good player, that Cho. A youngster. And I did sign him when I went through the transfer window. Very good player. And he scored a bundle of goals in my transfer window in pre-season. Just looked very good. And they weren't easy games I set up in pre-season. They were very tough games. Yeah, absolutely. Callum, I do hope you're right. But I can't see it. I'll be very happy if we can get a draw. He's just picking the wrong team as well for me, Ten Hag. I don't know why. Our most dangerous player at the moment is Garnacho. And I don't know why he won't play him. Diallo looks like a little kid out on the wing there. He's got no idea. But managers have their favourites, don't they? And like Fernandes is so out of form. Rashford, I don't know why he's picking Rashford. Picking Rashford does not make any sense. Rashford's a shadow of the player he was 3 years ago. I don't know why he's doing that, but he obviously has his reasons. Yeah, McTominay, who's been sold. I don't know why he's been sold. I think he's a really good Segunda Volante or a good box-to-box. He's just not ever been used properly. And now Ten Hag's been using him as an attacking mid last season. Or even a striker. That's panic button stuff. Whereas he's played well when he's used as a box to box. He's played well. He's just had a rough press from all the fans who seem to blame him for everything. I think he's been one of their better players. And I'm sad that he's going to be sold. And that's another Mercury signing that is dreadful. Sterling, who is a has-been now. It's like we pick up these players that other teams don't want because they're names. Like Mount. Mount doesn't belong in that Man United team. It's too slow. And now we're going to have Sterling, who is a fairly selfish player, who really won't be interested in the club. He's interested in money and playing. But it's just the wrong type of signing. He's another player who a club doesn't want because he's not good enough to start for Chelsea up top there. Oh, we'll have him, say United, because he's a big name. Or was a big name. And that's the kind of signing I despise. It's like, don't do that. Get somebody that is younger, who's motivated to play for the club. I mean, he'll play for anyone, Sterling, as long as he can get out. He's not bothered. We want somebody who wants to play for the club. Come on, boys, let's make it 6. United will not like it if we make it 6. But they might make it 2. You've got to be prepared for them making it 2. But since we pulled the line back, they have realised, I think, that these long balls over the top don't work anymore. That's why defending in FM24 is quite easy. If you see that happening, pull the line back a notch. Simple. Now we've just, when we're receiving the ball, we've just got tons of time to deal with it. So they've got space between United's press now. Our passing, though, is terrible at the moment. And yet we are a very good passing team. But I think is also familiarity. They're not used to playing with one another. And that's why I think second half of the season, if we can keep everyone fit, this team will be unstoppable. So United have pushed their line back a little bit now as well. They were defending on the halfway line. Now they are back inside their own half. Because they've realised that I'm trying to get balls over the top as well. So I'm actually going to go to a passing game now. I'm going to go fairly narrow. I'm actually going to go narrow now. And what I'm going to do is nothing here. Just going to try and outpass them now because they're not. They've pushed their line back. And getting balls behind them isn't going to be so easy. Like in the first half, their line was up here. It's just like really risk-taking. But we've defended well, boys. We've defended well. But I know how to do that now. If I could work out how to score goals regularly, we'd be absolutely perfect. If I could work out how to sign players who would have a good first season as well, we'd be absolutely romping away with things. So they've made some changes. I think I'll go and make my other 2 changes. And Yoro's done well for his first appearance. Need more out of Sidamar. But it is his first game. And Kamalo didn't play very well, but he had a good start to the season, Kamalo. Landerson is very tired, so Larson can come on there. And Carioca is very tired, so Mora. Can he play as an... Yes, he can. And hopefully that should see us out now. 5-1 beat City 5-0. Now we're 5-1 up against United. This game is funny sometimes. Don't think Man United have looked that bad. Just unlucky, really. I just think Rashford has no confidence. He's just almost doesn't look interested. He's not tracking back. He switches off a lot. Diallo on the right wing doesn't look like he's the right player for that role. Maybe that's why they brought Sterling in. Or trying to bring Sterling in. But Garnacho has been the player in form, both in pre-season, and he scored the goals that we've been scoring. And he won't play him. Maybe he's got him in mind as just being a super sub because he has got the pace to worry teams when they're struggling at the end. But it's too late then. He needs to be on at the beginning, worry them at the beginning. And I don't know why Mount is playing. He's obviously got his reasons. Somebody was saying the other day that Mount had a super game. He was closing down, just having a lot of energy and running around. He said he was running around a lot. And just having a lot of energy and running around a lot does not mean you've had a great game. Well done, Doig. Take him out, boy. And he doesn't get good service. Højlund, I think, needs to play with a winger. Or he needs to play with a deep-lying forward. I'd like to see United play in a 4-4-2. And put Højlund up top with Xerxes playing as a deep-lying forward. And that might suit them a little bit better. We've got wingers. And then we're not so reliant on our midfield because we'd play more direct and miss out the midfield. It just means that he might have to play in a mid-block so we are more compact. That's how I would play United in a 4-4-2. But he seems obsessed with this 4-2-3-1, which we really don't play very well. And I think bringing Fernandes back into midfield would be good for him. And we've got, what's his name, this Ugarte coming in. And he will play very nicely in a 4-4-2. It just means United will play as they played before in the Ferguson era, which was soak it up and then attack them on the break at pace. And that's how I want to see United play, like they played under Ferguson, that 4-4-2. It's very wide. Beckham playing as a wide midfielder here. Full back romping past. That's how I'd like to see United play. And I think they've got the two forwards who could do that now. Neither of them can play on their own. So I'd like to see them in a 4-4-2. You're not a fan? Hey, Swippish, how you doing? And lose at home to Brentford. I mean, the Premier League is a strange league. Everybody put a Manchester City defender in their FPL team last week, and then Ipswich went and scored within seconds. Like, they upset all the FPL managers. It's just so hard to call the Premier League. It's so hard to know what is going to happen in the Premier League. And there is a case for anybody can beat anybody on the day. That you can't go into any game as a top team and think you're going to win it. You've got to focus and plan each game properly. The Premier League is just an awesome league. I'd like to see Ipswich beating someone soon, as well as Southampton and Leicester. There's a case for Sancho as a winger. If he plays him as a winger, and the problem that we might have doing a 4-4-2 is that we have inside forwards, inverted wingers, but we don't have natural wingers who will, like, Giggsy, who gets crosses into the box. Hoyland would love that if he was getting tons of crosses in the box. He'd love it. And Xerxes could feed off him. And I think that I'd love to see United doing that again. And I think they've got the personnel. Casemiro and Guate will do well. I think Bruno Fernandes could function on the right-hand side as a wide midfielder. So they've got the players who could play a decent 4-4-2. I'd love to see it. And then just counter-attack. Soak it up like Ferguson set them up. Soak up the pressure. And then go forward at extreme pace. And that's how United played. And that's what everybody loved. The counter-attacking football we played was awesome. Come on, let's make it 6. Let's go one better than City and let's make it 6. There's still time, boys. He's not a great crosser, you're right. And both wingers will need to be able to cross the ball. Like Frimpong here, he needs to be able to cross. Playing in a 4-4-2, it's absolutely vital that you've got players who can cross the ball. And that includes your fullbacks. Oh, they have got that ball over the top eventually. And they've made it 5-2. But that's okay, it's too late, United. That Cho is a menace, isn't he? I told you he's a good player. Who went to sleep? Where he went to sleep. See, Newcastle, you don't want to buy him. He goes to sleep. I think Liverpool, they are a great counter-attacking team. And I think you're right, Callum. And they will probably sit back a little bit. Draw United out and then just go bombing up the pitch. And like these long balls that they play, they're frightening. And United don't have the defence to be able to deal with that. And it's because in the double pivot that they currently have, it's too easy to go past them. Casemiro is old, and it's very easy to go past them. And if he fouls a lot because he is so old. And I think Liverpool if I was Liverpool, that's how I'd be setting up. Sit back a bit, draw them out, and then we'll take them to the cleaners on the counter. So I think I'm really worried, as I think that Slot is a better manager than I am, and he's probably already thinking this. Just counter-attack. What's going to be how United should play is to also sit back. Do not be fooled by Liverpool sitting back, but also just keep the ball in your own half. Try to pull Liverpool forward. And United won't do that, though. They'll think they're winning. And they will get caught out, I'm sure of it. Although in big games, Ten Hag has come up with results. In the very, very big games, he has ground out a few results. So we'll see. But I am a bit concerned. Come on, boys. Let's finish this game. Let's get another goal. I want 6 now. 5-2, not good enough after beating City 5-0. I want 6-2 now. They're just so good at counter-attacking, Swippish. They're just so... It's so pleasant to watch. And they are just... It's like United used to play under Ferguson. They sit back, and then suddenly they launch an attack. And it's almost unstoppable. It's scary. I watched that game against Brentford, and it's scary. In all fairness to Brentford, they defended really well. Some of the attacks Liverpool launched, which is like... It's so good to watch, but I can't see United defending like Brentford did. They're not disciplined enough. But, you know, I mean, I shouldn't like Liverpool. I like all football teams who play good football. As you get older, you lose the fanaticism and you just appreciate good football. That's what's happened to me. And watching Liverpool is a joy. Watching Salah, Jota and Diaz, it's just a joy to watch. That goal that Diaz scored on the counter, the reverse pass from Jota was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Time to perfection. And it just was unstoppable. Brilliant goal. Go on, Frimpong. Cross into the box. Not going to be number 6. But 5-2, it's a good thumping for Manchester United. They have rotated United. Just tell Doig to mark it. What are you talking about? Doig's a full-back. Cho is playing up front. I do agree it's time to specifically mark him. And it should be my right-handed defender. Jesus Abba. Tell Doig to mark him. Doig will be coming into the middle. There'll be huge space. I have to sack my assistant manager. Hi Dylan, how you doing? Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I need to press play. But here we go. 5-2 against United. 5-0 against City earlier. Nicely done. Come on, I want 6. you've given 2 goals away. Sloppy. Be nice to get 6. Although I'm not going to argue with beating the 2 Manchester clubs by 10 goals to 2 on aggregate. Hey Andy, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Busy boy today. Got a busy household there. Glad you could make it. You're just in time to see us beating Manchester United. Carabao Cup 3rd round, 5-2. I don't know what happened in the first half. It's a rotated team that we put out. I was concerned it was too rotated. But United put out a rotated team as well by the look of it. And our second team is better than United's second team. Although we have had a good central defence there. Peterson's played. Excuse me, Andy. I think you're probably going to see it on Sunday as well. I really do think so. Unless Ten Hag can come up with something that he's not previously come up with. I think we'll just go to balance now. And let's close it all down. Much shorter. We don't need to counter-attack now. We'll come into a low block now. Come off that a little bit. And slow it all down. United are not going to score 4 times now. They might score another one. Because we're not really defending very well today. But we've done enough in the first half to thrash United. One of us, Andy, probably you. If it's a 7-0 again, I might have to cancel the stream on Sunday because I'm crying too much. Although I do in my fantasy team, I do have Salah as captain. That's how concerned I am about United. I also saw that you got a huge points haul on Sunday, Andy, both you and your son. Is there sort of like any sort of cheating going on there in that household? In the FPL? I noticed the 2 of you have just jumped right above me. So you're Liverpool players, I think, weren't they? Nepotism. So now both of you have gone above me. But I've wild-carded this week. And I've got Salah, Saka, Palmer and Son with Smith Rowe in midfield now. If those boys can't get points throughout the season, I give up on FPL. I wish there was a way to show build-up play in the highlights using full highlights. You can see comprehensive, and sometimes if I'm confused, then I will look the match back in comprehensive and I will put it in 2D. If something really isn't making sense to me, sometimes I'll do that. But we are into the next round, 5-2 against United, and we got this glitch again now. We got to wait until all the players walk off, but they don't actually go off. They just wait by the tunnel. They never actually make it down the tunnel. And somebody pick the ball up. The referee is looking at the ball. You can go and pick the ball up and take it to the referee. Now, come on, get your act together. Yeah, true, Andy. True, very true. Finally, we can go to the dressing room. Yeah, defensively we weren't great, so I'm just going to say it was a good win. It was a good win. I wasn't expecting that. But I'm expecting to win some trophy this season. Neves, 2 goals. Really pleased. And Neves is he's becoming a great player. Let's rest them again. I always do this, and I would always tell people to do this. Kamalo doesn't need a rest, but the rest of the team, give them a day off training. It helps if you're playing a lot of games. Frimpong, possibly give Frimpong the day off as well. And then they recover, I think, much better than if you... I know people swear by using recovery in training. I just give them a day off, and then they're not training. They're less likely to get injured as well. And it seems to work. They recover very quickly. Oh, I've got to go to these, haven't I? I do not like these. I will be looking at... I think there's something which is going to have to happen. We're not going to reveal anything. Our Newcastle's social groups, easy enough. I don't know. We've got a good bunch of lads. Does the seed of our favours most? Of course he does. The player of real I'm confident. Does he have the capacity? It's my job to help him develop. You stay out of it. You're just the press. Would you say that Sidemar helps the club? Absolutely. We have to bring players in like him, of course. And what am I going to say? No, he's a pointless signing. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think was the driving force? Because he loves me. So I admire him. Because he thinks I'm an awesome manager. That's why he came. Come on, get your act together. Stop asking silly questions. I wonder if, like the... let's have a look at this draw. In real life, they don't get asked questions like that, do they? They get asked proper questions. Why can't we have that in FM? Villa, Chelsea, that's a good one. Liverpool, Newcastle. No. I'd actually take that. We'd take on the big teams now. I'm confident about... Oh, we'll take Arsenal. Yeah, we'll have Arsenal. No problem. We'll take these big teams. So we'll have played Man United and Arsenal now. We'll play our second team against Arsenal. No problem. Turati? I don't think so. Frimpong, Botman. Yeah, and he needs a game. Arwell, Davis, Tonali. Neves probably needs a rest. Landerson, Florian Wirtz, Karloka, Gray and Siedemar. Not going to argue with that apart from Siedemar and who is the other one? Siedemar and who was the other one that the goalkeeper. So we'll go and just change those over. Ramirez can come back in goal. Turati on the bench. And Botman, Aber. Landerson gives Neves a rest. Carioca, I'm not too happy with him starting. He's not hit the ground running, so I'm going to start Kumalo. Because he knows and has played with Wirtz and Gray and Siedemar. No, Gray and Canote. They've at least had some time together. Now, let's just see what a mess he's made of the bench. Well, he's got Moreno, one full-back. He's got no left-back on the bench. That's because Peterson needs to come in. And he can come in for Shazavari. And Yoro is a midfielder now. Stan Guevara. I'm going to just put Guevara on the bench. This is a game that he might benefit from coming off the bench. Let's just put him in there for now. Peterson, Guevara, Yoro. One more midfielder. Where's me DMs? Might be a chance to give Ward-Prowse a little chance from the bench. Let's give him a little nod to say we haven't forgotten you. Guevara, Carioca. I don't need Larson now. Mora. No, Mora can stay on the bench and Siedemar can come on for Larson. There you go. That's a good bench. And Norwich, I feel like I want to start in a mid-block against Norwich and defend. I just want to have a quick look at the style they're going to play. Route 1. I did say they were going to play Route 1, didn't I? So what I will have to do is just pull the defensive line down. And I think it's a good enough defence to deal with the Route 1. I've just had this problem with Ipswich, and I got round it. So hopefully, the way the game plays, pulling the defensive line back will stop them. They're going to sit back. So what I did to solve the problem in the Ipswich save was to actually start in a mid-block. So I am going to go into a mid-block and do it that way. And that'll force Norwich to come out. I just knew it. I'm gonna have to start in a mid block, and be more defensive. Larson 5.85. That's not good enough, sunshine. And the other one 6.05. Ward-Prowse, not good enough. And he's going to get a chance on the bench. 36 years old. What do you sign him for? I know why he signed him. Because of the European stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Always confused with Andy when there's a Y in the spelling. I don't know why that happens. Maybe just too old. And who's this? Scout. No problem. Kamala wants to discuss. He has been stewing on it. This is going to be difficult then, isn't it? He's an influential figure. I'm going to try. I think in here somewhere. There's one that says I want you to focus on the league. Oh, yes. And because I know that in another save that has worked. So it does mean I have to play him in the league matches a lot. What's wrong with him? He wants a new contract. Oh no, more playing time. Is he influential? Oh boy. Oh my gosh, look at this. I currently have 7 unhappy players. Wants more playing time. I think I'm just going to have to say I'm going to let you go out on loan. Does he have a favourite player we can try first? It's a minor issue. I mean, we've got some great players. These young boys shouldn't be expecting. He's a squad player. holds me in the highest regard. He doesn't have a fave, thinks Guehi organises the defence well. So that's no good. I'm going to have to talk to him direct. Holds me... now's not the right time to talk about it. That's fine. No problem. You take your time. And Norwich, I am going to go into a mid-block. I just have this funny feeling that Route 1 is best dealt with a mid-block. And it worked in the Ipswich save. And I just don't want to get into that 25 shots and we haven't scored a goal yet. Berate him. Which player is the most entertaining to watch in the Premier League? I've got to say, much to my horror, I've got to say Salah. He's just such a wizard on the ball. If only United could find a player like Salah. And interestingly, he was... like I was thinking about when he was a Chelsea player and Chelsea didn't rate him as a youngster and sold him and Liverpool brought him back. That's happened to others as well. And no, we don't want to play attacking. I'll address that in a minute. And it's happened to a lot of them. And the recent one, I mean, Pep must be turning in his bed at night selling Cole Palmer to Chelsea, and look what he's become. And I just like, I think so. Yeah, I think so, Andy. But I've already said my piece about that. I'm not happy about bringing in players like Sterling. Just not happy at all. Team are all happy. I mean, if we don't beat Norwich, like there's something wrong with the game. Looking at the quality of the players we have, go out there and impress me. I don't know why they'd want to, because 7 of them are not happy with me. And make this count, boys. Make this count. 3 points here. Charlie Patino is a good player in FM, isn't he? Sancho. Yeah, they're not a bad team, actually. So, they've got Jadon Sancho in there, have they? So let's go and play this. Make your manager happy, boys. But yeah, I think if they're gonna play Route 1, I'm just gonna sit back and wait for those long balls over the top, and hopefully by playing in the mid block, they're not just gonna sit back, and we're gonna pull them out and then catch them on the counter. I'm going to go with a much higher tempo and slightly shorter passing directness. And I'm not going to play out of defence for this. Yeah, I'm going to play counter-attacking football here. And it might be... If I sorted it out in the Ipswich save, it might run throughout all these styles of play. Mito, yeah, I considered putting him in my fantasy team, but I didn't have any room with Son, Saka, Palmer, and Salah. I didn't have any room. Smith Rowe has got that berth at the moment, but he's on my watch list. He's one I'm watching. He's a good player and he's pacey, and I like pacey players. That's why I'm enjoying watching Liverpool, because their pace is scary. And when I think about the players they've got on the bench, like Gakpo and Darwin, I mean, this is a scary attack. And behind them, they've got Salasabal, who's very underrated, I think. It's a very scary attack. Come on, Kamalo, you've got to deliver. I've promised you that Premier League is where you're going to function. But you've got to deliver, boy. He is like my son, though. It's hard to tell him off. I'm 15 years old when I gave him his debut. at Sundowns. He's like grown up with me. Nicely done, nicely done. Now tidy it up. That's better. We just got to create chances. They are going to sit back. But I'm hoping we'll do enough to drag them out of shape. We're not going to press them. Come and get us. I know what will happen if I play with a high press. I know exactly what will happen. Ball over the top. And we'll be 1-0 down. We'll have 48 shots and none of them will go in. So we're going to make it difficult for them to get that long ball going. That's the plan. And just hope that these players have got it in them to score some goals. You scored 5 against Manchester United, 5 against Manchester City. Surely you can get some goals against Norwich. Go on, Kamalo. Go on, son. Oh, it's Kanate. He's quite small as well, isn't he? I thought it was Kamalo because he was so small. Chance. Oh, who was that? Kanate. Seems to have gone off the boil, Kanate, a little bit at the moment. And there's the Route 1 coming. Straight up the middle. Hopefully we can deal with that at that distance all day. All day. I think it's going to be an exciting Premier League this season. One of the reasons why I eventually signed up to Discovery Plus. I think that Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, like they have got a very good team, and I wouldn't write them off for the title. Liverpool, I think it's going to be quite exciting this year. I think it's going to be a good one. And already I'm liking what I see in terms of games. Yeah, they're defending. Of course they're going to sit back. They're going to... Route 1 is about sitting back and then humping a long ball up the pitch, which is why I've put my line back so they can't do that. And now that they are being drawn out, that's when we should have the ability to catch them on the counter. Just take the ball off them. Catch them on the counter. I'm getting fed up of playing against teams from the bottom of the league and having 30 shots and not being able to score because their low block is just impenetrable. When other teams seem to beat these teams quite easily. So I've got to try something like this. It worked in the Ipswich save, but it's not doing too well here. But there's that direct ball. Standard line is enough to stop them doing that. And if we can break quickly, there should be space at the back. Go on, Kamalo. Go on, son. Go on, have a run. Nah. Let's tell him to pass the ball, not to dribble. We have such a good dribbling team. We are top in dribbling in the Premier League. But every time I see my players run with the ball, they lose the ball. So I don't know quite how that works. So let's tell him not to dribble. I'd tell the whole team to dribble less. Every time I see them running, unless the game just doesn't show it properly, every time I see my great dribbler running with the ball, they lose it. They're passing it around all right at the moment. Oh, lovely pass. Go on, Tonali. Get stuck in there. He didn't want it, did he? Oh, this is going to be the game, is it? Where it all goes pear-shaped. Oh, what are we doing, boys? This is Norwich. We've just put 5 past Manchester City and 5 past Manchester United. And Norwich is a problem? Come on. I'm not going to put the line higher up because they will score. That's guaranteed. But it's the attacking players who've got to... I don't know. Well done. Now, break. Fast. Pace. Come on, Kanate. Maybe I should tell the whole team to dribble less. I mean, they're not doing it at the moment, are they? Maybe the mid block was not the right thing to do. We should press higher up. But then that just forces them back again, and they go back into this low block, and it becomes impossible to open them up. I've been there before. We went there with Southampton, and we couldn't beat Southampton either until I went into the mid-block against Southampton. Which I'm just not cut out to play against teams at the bottom of the league. And finally Frimpong has put it in. And that's kind of what I wanted to see. That they leaving space, whereas the mid-block has actually pulled their defensive line out. They're not sitting deep, and that counter-attack has caught them out. It's kind of what I wanted to see, and then hopefully the floodgates will open now. Who's not cutting the mustard at the moment, Andy? Who's not doing it? How does that affect the table at the moment? Liverpool's still ahead. Liverpool are winning then, are they? No, they're drawing. We should be above. We should be above Liverpool. Come on, let's make it 2. Let's get a hatful here. Now that they have to come out. I mean, players like Gray, Wirtz, we should be scoring tons of goals against these teams. Oh, lovely. Well done, Kumalo. Brilliant play. Just the final pass. It was lovely stuff. From my son. I'm going to have to rename him to become my son. He's been with me for way too long. He could become my adopted son. And we put my surname on the end of his name. I've adopted him. No favouritism, of course, then, in the first team. No favouritism. Has he gone off that Masongo? Has he gone off? No, he's still on, so I bet he's not very well. Yeah, he's going to have a hard tackle. We'll leave it on that, so I can see how he's getting on. But for now, he's going to have a hard tackle. He's not very well. And we will close him down as well and worry him. We're going to have to score more than one, though. We've been caught out before with a long direct ball. Got caught out twice, I think, by Manchester United. Didn't defend very well. Even though I spotted it and pulled the line back, I spotted it before the assistant, which is quite rare, that they were playing more direct, pulled the line back, and we still got caught twice with it. Kamalo's doing nicely. He does track back, Kamalo. And then as soon as I say that, he gives the ball away. Good tackle. Jesus Abba. The other thing is about playing in this style is that it conserves energy. So if we are pulled back before the end, we can go much more attacking because we still have tons of energy left. Go on, Landerson. Come on, Frimpong. Into the box. Where's Kamalo? He's not there. I'm just looking at Gray again. He's just not functioning at the moment, is he? He's like a 5-star player. Another one who can't seem to play football. Peterson is the same. He's 4.5-star fullback and he's not playing very well at the moment. Arwell Davis is a 4-star. He's a Welsh boy, of course, though. And he's come in and he's playing very tidy football. It's only a 4-star. But, of course, that's probably because he's Welsh. The passion of the Welsh people, that's what he's got. Come on, we got to defend this tidily. Well done. We've got to keep them struggling to get this Route 1 pass away. The sergeant is coming very, very deep. And I hope he hasn't got him on a tight mark. No. That's it. Let's attack at pace. But we need to pass better. Into space, boys. Got to get it behind them. See, their line is much higher. Oh, chance. Wirtz is in. Oh, he's missed out. Comes to Gray, and Gray, as all 5-star forwards do, blazes it over the crossbar when it's easier to score than miss. What's his composure, Akin Gray? What's his composure like? 17. He didn't look very composed to me there. Just like, just put your foot through. You could have placed it side foot into the corner. That's what I would have done. Chance. No. Come on, you're going to have to come forward if you want to score against us. Because this Route 1, we're not going to allow you to do that. Oh, that's poor pass again. Is it just a bit too frantic? But I need to have a high tempo. They've got to be playing at a high tempo in this system. In this way of playing. So we will possibly have to put up with mistakes. Go on, Kamalo. Oh, he's still dribbling too much, isn't he? But that's the way he plays. He knows his ability. Put him out. So Masongo is going to have to go off now. The skin is Swippish is the work the space skin. I like it because the tablet gives me all the information in one page, and I can really, it's easy to scan. I can see what's actually going on. It's rather like an airline pilot just scanning the instruments. It's very, very user-friendly, easy to scan. And let's got rid of him. So he isn't going to cause us any problems anymore. Come on, I want more than 1-0, boys. I need to have 3 on the board by half-time. Defensively, we're doing a good job. Which we should be, because our line is very deep. And we should be able to defend against that all day. Come on, somebody with a pass. Oh. Kamalo is playing better than Gray at the moment, but he's not really good. But Gray is just not taken to the club at all, which is a shame. You should be able to see these great players play good football. I don't know why FM won't let the great players you sign play good football. Somebody who's a 3-star is playing much better than him. Has got attributes are much worse. He's just given the ball away there. So we have got bags of energy left, and hopefully in the second half, if we need to, we can go and press them when they're tired. I just wonder what the passing stats are. Who's had the ball? It's 50-50. Probably not good enough against Norwich. But there's no point in having 70% of the possession if you can't score. So I'll take this. I think I've done well here to figure this out and get a goal ahead. This was never going to be easy. I think it's easier to score against the bigger teams because they are leaving space behind. And our pace is taking us into that space. Whereas these type of teams, Southampton, Norwich, the space is harder to come by. And that maybe explains why we're beating the top teams by 5 and struggling against these boys. But it's okay. If we struggle and manage to win 1-0, that's fine by me. Nobody remembers individual results at the end of the season. They remember you lifting the trophy. And that's what we want to do, boys. So you grind out the results as best you can. But listen to me, because I know what I'm doing. Sometimes. Well, not even sometimes. Ah, boys, come on. There's that direct pass again. But Jesus Abba eats those for breakfast. Is anybody actually playing? We got another one injured. He's still on the pitch, is he? Nah, there's no key passes. They're just lobbing balls into space. Or trying to. There's no finesse about them at all. Where do you think I'll finish in the league with Newcastle? I'm going to be conservative. I'd like to think this team could win it. But then I think this is going to be the story of the first half of the season. They're just not playing very well together. Too many transfers, I think. And I think we're not going to stroll the Premier League. I'd like to think we'll be in the top 4. I'd like to think we can do 3rd or 2nd. I'm not going to say we'll win it. I'll be very pleased if we win it. But we've definitely got to be top 4 with the players that we have in this team now. We have to be top 4. And I think once they've played together for half a season, we're going to be zipping the ball around all over the place once the second half of the season comes along. I'd also like to think we can win the Europa League as well. I think that the team is good enough, the squad is good enough to win the Europa League as well. So I'm not going to predict we'll finish top. I'll say top 4, and we've got a good chance of winning the Europa League, I think. That's good. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Callum? As long as we keep winning, I'll be happy. We're going to lose eventually. I just hope it's not to Norwich. I just hope it's not Norwich or a team like Norwich that beat us. Yeah, stop fouling. Again, we're not playing well up top, but we are playing well at the back. And it's all these boys pretty much are new. So I guess it's what that is. They're just not used to playing with each other, and they have been rotated. So it's not like I've kept the same 4 for every game. So it's going to take them time. But I think second half of the season, we're going to be scoring tons of goals. Tons of goals. We've already shown in glimpses what we can do. If teams give us space, we've shown what we can do. And City and United gave us that space, and we took full advantage of it. It's getting used to these low blocks and breaking these down. That's what we got to figure out. But as they get to know each other, that'll get easier. Again, a poor pass. But they've got, Norwich have got nothing about them. There's no finesse. There's no flair. It's just a long punt. That's all they rely on. And if you're smart enough in FM, if you see Route 1, then go into a mid-block. You can still probably play with the high press, but keep your line, your defensive line at standard. Just gives your defence more time to deal with that ball that's going to come over the top any minute. And again, it's easy to defend against them when your line is lower than you normally play. You think there's a chance? I think there's a chance. We're not afraid of the big teams anymore. And we'll take them all on. I'm afraid of the little teams. I'm afraid of the Norwich and Ipswich and Southamptons of the world. Those are the ones I'm afraid of. Because they seem to be the hardest for me to beat. And if I can figure out how to beat one, hopefully I can figure out how to beat them all. Come on, you're going to hard tackle him. Get in his face. They're not passing it around at the back very well, are they? So I wonder if I should go for a counter press. Put them in trouble. It's going to leave a lot of space between my lines. But it doesn't look like they're passing the ball very well at the back. So I wonder if just before half-time, let's give it 15 minutes. And we'll counter-press. I'll just push the line up to see if we can't worry them. Because they're not passing the ball very well at the back. And just for 15 minutes. It's going to leave a lot of space between my lines, but a passing directness should be enough for us to keep the ball, and we're fairly narrow. So it just might be worth counter-pressing them for a few minutes and see if we can force them into an error. Because I have noticed their passing at the back is as bad as our passing in general. Just catch them out now, hopefully. Then we'll slip back into the mid block again. But I'd just like to try and put a little bit of pressure on them when they've got the ball at the back. We'll see in a minute if that works. Kanate has got an injury. Where are they all going? Is that not a free kick? Where are they going? Is that not a free kick, referee? Oi, you can't take it yet. He's injured on the floor. I think he's done, isn't he, Kanate? Just rolling about there. Oh. He's all right. Wasn't that a free kick? Come on, come on, come on. Love this. I'm sure. Like I saw a couple of 7-0s, Andy, in the save that you sent me, and you did have silly defeats against smaller teams, yeah. But ultimately, you won the league, and that's all that matters. Nobody remembers the results. They remember you lifting the trophy. Now, this could be a danger because we have made more space for them in doing this. But it was getting a little bit... What we were doing was getting a little bit stale. So do something different and see what happens. We've still got the standard line. We still should be able to deal with those. Well, in theory. Maybe it's not good to push the lines up because they're creating more chances and I've given them more space to play in. So maybe the press isn't the best thing to do against them. And I'm definitely not pushing the line up. That's an invitation for them to have one shot and score. Definitely not. He's injured. He's on his last legs, but that was a huge tackle he put in there. He must be a very brave player. But this is kind of weird. This is Southampton all over again. And we just about ground out that result as well. Maybe it is complacency with the first team. Just don't focus. Oh, Gray. This is what we paid over 100 million for, is it? Both of them, Gray and Kanate's. Dreadful. FM, you should let very good players be very good players. Just because I've signed them, they shouldn't become very poor players. And they're just dreadful, both of them. That's it. Win the ball back. Show them who's boss. That's a good pass. Kanate again can't get past his man. Oh boy. I'm going to go slightly wider. Let's go fairly wide. Eventually, I'm just going to go into a low block and keep the ball. That's what I'm going to be forced to do. Let's try and open them up. Whatever we can do to open them up. Oi, where are you going? Oh, no, 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 no. I knew I should have sold Botman. Now, counter-attack. This is where we want to win it, and now we want to get... This boy, whose his heart level is like nothing. He's on his last legs, and he's injured, and he's keeping them together. I have to sign him. That Misongo is outstanding. Hey KP, how you doing? The regens, we don't have very many. I think I've only got one who's even worth thinking about. But we can have a look at him. like we had a dreadful intake, but there is one that who might become something, so we can take a look at him. And I don't like this. I'm gonna like go back to what we were doing, and I'm gonna go into the mid block. These teams really scare me, like Norwich, Southampton, all these teams at the bottom. They are scaring me silly. Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, they don't scare me at all. We'll put 5 past them. But what I'm going to do now is just try and keep the ball. They are dominating the possession as well. I think I'm just going to try and keep the ball. Although we've got 58% possession. They're not dominating possession, but it just looks like it to me. Unless all these teams are upping their game against Newcastle. I'd just like to know. I think I might go and have to watch somebody else play them. How are they beating them with these big scores? I might have to go to one of their games and watch them play and see if I can figure something out. Because this is weird. In terms of chance, how many chances have we created? 3. And it's not like I haven't got good players. Florian Wirtz, Tonali, even Landerson has got passing and vision of 16. It's not, what is going wrong? There is no way I'm pushing the lineup though. No way. That's asking for them to really thrash me. Come on, somebody wrap your foot round it. Frustrating. It's the same frustration I felt when we played Southampton. I'm just going to sit back and grind it out. I'm going to end up going into a low block. A team like us should not be going into a low block against a team like Norwich. Here we go again. Passing is absolutely shambolic. Why can't I beat these teams easily at the bottom of the league? Even in the Ipswich save, the other one, like I'm playing teams at the bottom of the league, I'm having to grind out results defensively. We're beating them 1-0. I'm having to defend for dear life. Why? Oh, he's not going to do anything. He's a waste of money. He is 100 million. He's just giving the ball away. Just keeps giving the ball away. What's his, like, 6.6? He's absolutely shocking. Thank goodness I brought in Jesus Abba. A bit of solidity in the team. Oh, Tonali is playing badly as well. They're not that good, FM. It's Norwich. Why are you making them look better than Manchester City? Oh boy. Come on, put your foot through it, Kamalo. No, wait for it to come down and volley it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What can I do, lads? What am I doing wrong? What can I do? Don't tell me to push the lineup. I'm not going to invite them to score. Go into a low block? Really try and pull them out? Oh, look at that. It's making my team look like a bunch of monkeys. That's twice he's given it away. Cheat. No, you only cheat yourself, Andy. If you cheat at the end of the day, you only cheat yourself. It's much better to grind it out At the end of the day, get the 3 points. Nobody's going to care that it was only 1-0 at the end of the season. We're lifting up the trophy. The fans are not going to be saying, well, we're quite pleased, but that Norwich game was absolutely shocking. Yep, could be. Get more Welsh players in, Andy. That's a good thought. Arwyl Davies is the only one who's been playing well. Good old Welsh boy. The other two, good Lord. Peterson and Gray. Gray is doing my head in. Should I try and change his role? He can play allegedly as anything, but advance forward is what he is. Just try and bring him deep. See if he can't... let's just try and bring him deep. But at the moment, he isn't functioning as very well as an advance forward. Go on, Tonali. This is a chance. Oh, blimey. But that's their low block. I'd be very pleased if it was my team getting blocks in like that. That's a good low block. So maybe we're going to have players coming deep. I'm going to ask... Kamalo is already... He's already... roaming. Florian Wirtz should also be the same. Let's get them running around a little bit up top. Kanate, I might ask him to go and catch the bus. Dribble less, shoot less often, take fewer risks. And go and catch the next bus at half time. Again, it's this boy, Masongo, who is stretcher bound. He is actually tackling everybody. I wish my players could do that. I'll have to sign him. Because what a ball winner in midfield he is. He can do that on one leg. Come on, Frimpong. Come on, Sam. Oh, Fritz's first touch. That's Florian Wirtz FM, not some Vanarama player. Stop doing this. Stop making them look like monkeys. And they've been rested. They've all been rested. It's not like they're being overplayed. But it's just making them look like absolute monkeys. Go on, Kanate. This is your chance. I just told him, though, not to shoot. He can't even put that away. Oh, boy, oh, boy. This is Southampton all over again. All over again. He wants to play at a higher tempo, does he? Well, how much higher can I put it than very high? I can say I'm not happy. Look at these two muppets. Kamala's doing all right. Wirtz is doing all right. The defence is fabulous. But that I'm going to give myself that credit because that's the standard line. And I'm really not happy with you two. Now get your act together or you're coming off and getting on the bus. And it's not the team bus. I'll be making you get on a public bus to go home. This is dreadful. 10 players in the box. Go full on box mode. And gotta do something here. There's got to be a way to break down these low blocks. Other teams are doing it. And I've tried the traditional ways. Going wider hasn't helped. We might as well take that off now. It hasn't helped. And might be to make one of them an inverted wing back, bring him into the middle where Masongo, who's dying, is actually dominating the midfield. So, yeah, let's try putting one of these wing backs as an inverted wing back. Arwell Davis, can he do that job? It's Frimpong, though. Frimpong probably needs to do it on that side. Inverted wing back on attack. Let's try it. Let's see if he'll come inside. Maybe we do need help in the midfield. We could change him to a Volante, get him into a more attacking. He can play that role quite nicely. Just get him more attacking. So let's throw another body up the pitch, see if that helps. Just hope it doesn't make us vulnerable. Somebody's got to do something. Kamalo's not having a bad game, 6.8, and Florian Wirtz is a 6.9. It's the two Muppets up the top. Kanate's improved, but Gray is dreadful still. This might be one of those games where I do have to take a chance and push the defensive lineup, but I know what will happen. I've played this game for too long, and I know this Route 1 stuff. Come on, Kanote, let somebody do something. So we got Frimpong in midfield now, which is an extra body in midfield. Oh, Kamalo! You couldn't miss, and yet you did. And hopefully putting Landerson forward will just get more bodies forward. Sancho, send him off. Try a poacher. Yeah, that's an option. So put Kanate as a poacher. We can still have Gray coming deep. And then one of the attacking mids, Kamalo maybe, have him play as a shadow striker. So that he's running past Gray. Crowd out the penalty area a little bit with him. Mix it up a little bit. Try 5 up top. I know you like that, Andy, don't you? I've got 4 up top. 5? You like that. Oh, who is that? Kamalo. Yeah, Kamalo. Kamalo's played decently. He's just slightly off his finishing. And he does track back. He's very good at tracking back. But now I want you as a shadow striker. I don't want you tracking back. I want you making late runs. We're absolutely dominating the possession. It's just another poor performance from the boys up top. But there's a chance, but still. And that's Landerson now getting into the box as the Volante. Might be that might make the difference. Might make the difference. With extra body coming into the box. Oh, Kamalo. Wait till I get you home tonight. No supper for you, Kamalo. That was a dreadful pass. Dreadful. I'm not adopting you if you're going to behave like this. There he is. One of my other boys. Jesus Abba. Should I play more direct, perhaps? Or should I just shut up the shop now and just go, we're dominating possession anyway, just play with a shorter passing game? Shut up the shop early. Get the second goal, boys. Come on, let's get this second goal. I was expecting 8 against Norwich. They look like he's just taking far too much time. There's supposed to be high-tempo football. They're taking... They do look like a bunch of monkeys and not a 300, 400 million pound team we've just put together. Come on, Gray, do some... Oh. Right, he's got to come off, that boy. I think he's going to only be playing Carabao Cup matches for a while. He's useless. 100 and something million. 130 million or something. Useless. But we've seen them all just giving the ball away. First touch is dreadful. We've seen it from all of them. The game does this. It makes your team look like a bunch of absolute muppets. Whereas the game before, they were impeccable. Apart from letting in a couple of goals from long balls. Didn't look like muppets against Man United. Only against Southampton and Norwich. It's not getting past Jesus Abba. That's going out. See, I'm not pulling that line up because if I pull that line up, one of those balls is going to get to the winger, cross into the box, 1-0. 1-1. It's just, this is bizarre. Can't work out how Norwich are even in the Prem. In FM they are. They must be a newly promoted side. Although this is 2031. So it's not like we're still in 2025. Come on, Welsh boy, do something. Oh, he's lost it as well. He's starting to look like a muppet as well. Oh, come on, we've got that. No, not going to even get anywhere near it. It's time to make some subs. This is... Oh, boy. I still have no idea how to beat teams like Norwich, beat teams like Southampton. All right, who is coming off? Well, Gray now has suddenly leapt up to 7.2. I don't know how. He's going to play as an advance forward. He hasn't upset me yet today. Landerson has to come off, he's tired. Well, I'm not playing Ward-Prowse. I put him on the bench for when we were 5-0 up. Euro will come on. And that probably has cost us the goal. In fact, I'm getting so frustrated now. I'm going to push the line much higher up. We're going to press them. We're going to attack. Because I'm getting fed up of FM doing this nonsense. So we're just going to play as we would normally play. And we're going to attack them. Run at the defence. I'm going to put my other wing back on attack. I'm getting so frustrated with this game sometimes. Kamalo has got to come off. And that didn't work either. He's playing better. He's improved as the deep line forward, but we've given the goal away. Now we've got to go for the jugular. Hi, David. Well, the only thing I can think of now is let's play as we normally play. Let's attack. And if we can't score goals today, we can't score goals. I know in this game, and nobody can tell me otherwise, that there is a switch. And the switch goes on and off. And it goes on and off a lot more the more successful you become. That switch goes on and off all the time. And Andy made a comment with the Ipswich video that there was more green in the Ipswich schedule than there is in a offshore wind farm. And the reason for that is we're in season 1, where the level is easy. The switch doesn't go on and off in level 1, and but come level 10, season 10, the switch is going on and off all the time. And everything I do in game in that Ipswich save works, but this is not now level 1 anymore. And a computer game is a computer game, and it has levels of difficulty. That's how computer games are made. It doesn't matter which game they are all the same, and they all have levels of difficulty. And this one is just switching on off because we're in season 8 or 9 now. But it'll be okay at the end of the season. See, again, first... I thought they scored a ridiculous own goal then. First touch has been shocking. It's made the team look like a bunch of muppets, to be perfectly frank. And a team that can't do anything. So we'll try attacking now. And if they score again, they score again. Doesn't matter about Route 1. What we were doing didn't work. So we'll try something else. And we'll try berating them. Because they're absolutely dreadful. And I wish somebody could tell me how you beat these teams in these situations. Look at the passing, it's dreadful. And we've seen this all game. They haven't been able to string a pass together. And the first touch again. And we're playing against Norwich and we're being hammered. This world-class team that we've put together. Oh, it's so bad. And yet against Manchester United, with my reserve team, we slammed them. This is just ridiculous, this game sometimes. And the fact that it chooses to do this to your team, always against these teams, like Norwich or Southampton, or... It doesn't ever choose to do to let you get hammered 9-0 by Arsenal. It's always these teams. And so they, like FM, need to mix it up a bit. It frustrates people and it makes people think the game is silly. And FMS, I need to get this results generator. And they're going to beat us. I know they're going to beat us. And I don't care anymore. It's like, just do what you need to do, game. I'm sure you will put it right in the future. But you can't have teams winning their games. You can't have managers winning all their games. So you've got to have this switch. It just annoys me so much. But it's always against bottom of the league teams. Nobody else has had this trouble against Norwich. Nobody. There it is, the winner. There it is. Oh boy, this is why sometimes this game is a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. Absolutely dreadful game. I knew it was coming. I could have told you this. I did tell you it was coming, that they were going to score soon. 5th, they were 15th. 15th Swippish. They're not 5th. Now they're up to 6th. But they were in 15th. They were down here. And they've had nothing. They've done nothing apart from long balls up the pitch. And now suddenly they started to play like Brazil. That's because I pushed the line up. Because I got desperate. And I refused to play the way the game wanted to play. Because I'd had enough of it. Absolutely shocking. And I sometimes wonder why I spend this money on it, because it's so predictable. So predictable. Well, let's make some more subs. Arwell Davis, my Welsh boy. Shocking. And Wirtz can come off as well. Yeah, score again, Norwich. Go on, score again. I don't care. Let's get beaten by Norwich. Well, even my goalkeeper's making a complete fool of himself as well. Why not? Everybody else is. I don't know how we managed that result against Southampton, who were right down at the bottom as well, one of the rubbish teams. And now we can't get a result against Norwich, and we've beaten Manchester City 5-0. We've beaten Manchester United 5-2. And look at this passing. We can't find a pass. Unbelievable. And sometimes I think the best thing to do is to go on holiday. Leave it to your assistant manager, because he does better than you in these times. Just go on holiday. Leave it to him. Because whatever you as a manager seem to do, it's not going to work. So just leave it to someone else. Go on holiday. Few weeks and then it's generally rectified itself. This is unbelievable. This world-class team. Oh, can't look at that pass. Oh my God. Look at that first touch. We've got into this situation. It's a game again where we can't pass, we can't shoot. Our first touch is dreadful. And you can see it on the pitch in front of your eyes. And it's just unbelievable. They are not that bad. Our players are not a bunch of Vanarama players. They are not that bad. But it's making them look like terrible footballers. They can't control it, can't pass. Can't tackle. It's making them look really bad. And yeah, in the next game against Arsenal, we'll thrash them 8-0. It's just so stupid sometimes. How did this team beat Manchester City 5-0? How did they beat Manchester United 5-2? Could hardly beat Southampton. And just can't shoot, can't pass, can't do anything. This annoys me about the game. It really does. You know, if you're playing Barcelona with this team and you're losing 2-1, fair enough. Maybe your team wouldn't look like monkeys. But this is what the game does sometimes. It just, look at that. They can't pass. It's just bizarre. Right, I'm going to have to do something. Let's lump it up the field then. Let's try that. If you can't pass, we'll lump it up the pitch. We're going to get a sending off as well, are we? So let's, we don't want to play out of defence. We'll just lump it up. I've got to try everything now. It's getting stupid. Shoot on sight. Where's my goalkeeper? Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, maybe after 7 games you've got to change your tactic, Andy. I've noticed that that's happened a lot more. And years ago, 3 years ago, you had to change your tactic every 2 or 3 years. Now you have to change it every 8 weeks. It's got silly. The game's got silly in various parts. And this switch it has, I hate it. Because nothing I do is going to make any difference at all. It's a switch. And it doesn't switch. All it does is switch you off as a manager. That anything you do in game, it doesn't make any difference. And that's what the switch does. It switches you off as a manager. So you cannot change or have any effect on anything. And then after in a couple of days, game's time, it'll switch you back on again. It's really the most ridiculous, stupid thing. And I hope they're going to get rid of it. Just because a manager is successful doesn't mean you have the right to switch him off. Go on, make it 3. I don't mind. The game is having its way. Let's berate them again. Oh, boy. I did say during the United game, wasn't worried about that cup game. I was more worried about Norwich because they are a dreadful team. And I had a funny feeling the game was going to do this. I think I've been playing this game for far too long now. Patterns, patterns, patterns. Everything is a pattern. I mean, last season was absolutely ridiculous. We won 6 and lost 2. And that pattern just kept going. We won 6, lost 2. Won 6, lost 2. It didn't matter who they were. We just lost those 2. And every time we won 6, we lost 2. It's a stupid pattern. And if SI are dumb enough to think I'm not going to spot that, they've got to change it. Look at that. The passing is unbelievably poor. And yet this will say we've dominated possession. Yeah. How have we dominated possession when we've been giving the ball away all the time? When our first touch has been so bad, I would expect to see that I could expect to see better in the Championship. A better first touch than that. It's just ridiculous. I got players like Gray who can't do anything. 130 million. I knew it's pointless buying these players. Pointless. Florian Wirtz has hardly done anything since he arrived. It's not set the world on fire at all. He cost 100 million. Look at that. It's making the team look like they've never played football before. These guys might as well, I might have probably picked them off the car park. Even when teams get beat, they don't lose the ability to control the ball. They don't completely lose the ability to pass the ball. And it's just making us look like we've never played football before. And it's making Norwich look like they're Brazil. They are in yellow. We're in control of the match, are we? Passing well and getting our shots on target. What game are you watching, Mr. Assistant? He's got the Vanarama on TV, I think. I have not seen us passing well. I've seen us playing like absolute fools. Maybe I've just got to drop the first team. Maybe that's what happens next. It's saying the first team, you've got to drop them, play the youth players. I have done that once. And in a save in FM24, I think, where I got so frustrated that I put the youth team in, and we won. And that just goes to show how silly it is. And we won comfortably with the youth team, and I have done that. It's a lot to do with the visualization, but it's all we have to work on, and what the game is making us look like complete idiots. And FM25 is not going to be any better. People keep thinking FM25 is going to be better. This is the match engine. The graphics are just going to look better, though. Because of Unity, the graphics will look better. The graphics will be more expensive. But this is the engine that they're running it off. So it's not going to be any better. I think I might play my youth team in the next game just to prove it again. How stupid it is. My reserve team thrash Manchester United 5-2, and the first team can't even score or pass or control the ball against Norwich. And I don't know how they've worked out we've controlled the game. That could not be further from the truth. From what I've seen on the pitch, we've been dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. But you're right, in Swippish it is. It's just the match engine can't actually show you what's going on the pitch. It hasn't got the ability to do that. It's a cheap computer game. And it can't actually show you what's actually happening. So instead, it makes your team look absolutely stupid. That's all it can do. It's not and I've said this before, that this is not a reflection of the game. And I don't know how my assistant can say we are controlling this game. We are far from controlling this game. We look like a bunch of Muppets. Look at that. There's another example. And every time they pass it, it's going perfectly to feet. Another example. Another. So their passing is world class, and ours is Vanarama level. I mean, I can't play in 2D doing YouTube, but it's still not a reflection of the game. The match engine can't do that. It's a £40 computer game. It's not that sophisticated. People talk about the AI managers being so like artificial intelligence. They've got two tactics and they switch. That's all it is. The better managers have three tactics that they can switch. If it was a high level of artificial intelligence, this game would cost about £500. But it's like the work that would have to go into that. This game would be more expensive than any of us could afford. So when you think about artificial intelligence, it doesn't have artificial intelligence. It has £40 worth of artificial intelligence. Look, another pass. I just don't believe it. Don't make the team look like they are a bunch of idiots. Oh, unbelievable. Who's going to misplace the pass this time? Ah, and there it is. Oh, God, Bennett. Well, don't worry. We're playing Brazil next. We'll beat them 9-0. Sometimes this game just makes me want to quit. It's so bad sometimes. It just makes me want to quit. It makes me wonder, what am I doing this for? Another poor pass. First touch on the players is dreadful. And they've all got first touch. All of them got first touch over 15. Look at that pass. And then look at Norwich's passing. It's slick, it's fast, it's pacey. Finding the man. Another poor pass. Another poor pass. Oh, there was a poor first touch from a Norwich player then. I think the game's had a glitch. This is unbelievable. Yeah, let's go ultra low tempo, shall we? As low as it can get, if I can take it off the... And let's go really narrow. Well, sometimes, Callum, I will say this to their faces, there is a switch, and if the switch has gone, you know the switch has gone, and there's nothing then you can do. You might as well just go and make a cup of tea and let the game play itself. There's nothing you can do. Once that switch is switched on, you are finished as a manager. And it doesn't matter what you do on the pitch. Because what you're seeing is they are playing like Muppets. Because they can't pass, they can't shoot, they can't tackle. Their first touch is dreadful. Once that switch is gone, there is nothing you can do as a manager. And it will last for a couple of games, and then the switch will come back on, and suddenly you'll be a great manager again. You're wondering, why couldn't I do that 2 games ago? And I suppose it has to be there. If you think about it, when people are good at the game, eventually people get good at the game. And so if they are very good at the game and reading what the game is saying, then they'll win every game. So there has to be a switch. It has to be there. But let's do this switch in a different way. Don't make my players look like absolute buffoons. And their ratings are not that bad. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 players over 7. So what am I seeing? They should be all on 6s from what I'm seeing. None of them is able to control the ball. We can't dribble, can't pass, can't shoot, can't head it. So why have I got 4, 5 now on 7s? They have not played like they deserve a 7. It's just unbelievable. Oh, let's get stuck into them as well. We haven't done that one yet, have we? See if that one works. And I knew this was happening. I sensed it very early in the game. And I even called the goal. I even said the goal was going to happen. I didn't think the second one was coming. But in all fairness, from what I've seen on the pitch, we've been like playing like a schoolboy team, so Norwich deserve to win. But how come I've got 5 players who are above 7? And the stats are saying we've totally controlled the game. Our shots are on target. How come? When what I've seen on the pitch is the total reverse, the total opposite of that. And that's what makes the game silly. And there is a switch. There is a switch. And I'll say it to their face. If I ever get to meet them, I'll tell them to their face. There's a switch in it. And once that switch is switched, once you're switched off, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. What are Norwich's ratings? They've got the same amount of players that we have. But yet they have looked on the pitch like the greatest team in the world. Their passing has been slick. They had, and interestingly, they had that midfielder who was down here in his heart, but he was running around like a 2-year-old and tackling everybody. He was almost stretcher bound. But I noticed it in the first half. It was always him who was tackling and winning the ball off us, even though he could barely run. It's just senseless. Absolutely senseless. But the game won't do it when you're playing Manchester United or when you're playing Manchester City or Arsenal. It only does it against these teams. If you've ever noticed it, you never play like absolute muppets like this against a bigger team. Never. It only does it against the Norwiches of this world and the Southamptons. And that is why won't it do it against the big teams? And I'm not talking about getting beat. If we deserve to get beat, we deserve to get beat. I'm talking about what they have made my players look like. And they've taken away any decisions that I make. They've taken them away. That's the switch. And I'll say it to their face. There's a switch in there. And for me, that's cheating. A game should not be allowed to cheat. If your AI is as good as you say it is, the game should be able to match you. But then we all know the AI is only £40 worth of AI. If it was really good AI, the game would be too expensive for anyone to buy. Oh, now we got to wait for all this. There's a glitch, and there's glitches all over the game. I'm getting all these like goal awarded coming up before the goal's been scored. I'm getting penalty awarded before I know there's even a penalty. The game is glitching like crazy. Enough. And if FM25 is going to run off this engine, and it's going to cost more, I won't be too impressed. As I'm not very impressed with this team. Should have thrown the water bottle. And another thing is, why, when you buy £100 million players, do they always have to be really poor? Why can't you buy a £100 million player and he plays well? I have never bought an expensive player, a 4 or 5 star player, ever, who's played really well for his first 6 games. Are they saying that never happens? Oh, I don't want to go. I'm gonna leave. No comment. No comment. No comment. No comment. No comment. Not very happy. So the press, no, I'm not very happy. Transfer windows are stupid. I don't know. The game is broken really badly. That was, I was expecting that was going to be a difficult game because it's Norwich. But I was not expecting the game to take away any control I had and to make my team look on the pitch like they've never played football before. I was not expecting that. And not very happy. So that's that. I have no idea what to say anymore about this game. No idea. It's got to take that out. Take the switch out. It's useless, and nobody deserves that to happen to them. And that's like, I see so many comments from people, and they're saying, why does this happen? Why suddenly can my team not play anymore? It's just take it out. And it gets to me. Really gets to me. So yeah, whatever. I mean, they've made my team look like a bunch of monkeys. And hopefully they'll take the switch off at some point. I'm fed up of it. I don't mind losing. I've lost finals. And I've lost all sorts of games. But when it does this gets to me. It really gets to me. And when it takes my control over what's happening away from me, that's when I get really annoyed. Because it's like saying I'm a shit manager for these couple of games. Because that switch takes the control off me. It basically says whatever you do is going to have no impact. And I've tested it, and at these times it's best to go on holiday. Because your assistant manager will rescue the problem. When you come back after a couple of weeks, it's all resolved. So I tested it. And the video was called, I Think Your Manager Needs a Holiday. So take it out. Take the switch out. And if people are good at what they do, let them be good at what they do. You don't have to take control away from them and make them look like monkeys. And that's cheating in my book. Okay, I'm going to call it a day. I might come back. It's just an unbelievably silly game sometimes. And at times it's brilliant. It's a great game. But when it does this, it's a stupid game. And nobody minds losing. But when it does this, that is nonsense. And to be told by your assistant, oh, we're totally controlling the game, when what you're seeing on the screen is you're playing like a bunch of buffoons, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, of course we'll recover. We'll probably win the league, Andy. Probably. But it does annoy me that it does this rubbish. It's just... And Chelsea... Like, how many chances did we create against Chelsea? How many chances? Well, look at the stats on that. Chelsea were never in the game. And we couldn't score. Of course we couldn't. And when it does that, it's so frustrating. It's been a really frustrating episode. Manchester United... also frustrating because my reserve team went and thrashed them 5-2. So that's frustrating as well. That should not happen. I don't know. And then my first team can't beat Norwich. I just want to play top teams, please. I don't want to play any poor teams anymore. Just give me top teams. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go get something to eat. Oh, I've got to... they are taking me into hospital tomorrow. Don't know what for how long. But hopefully I'll be out on Thursday. I think that they want to check my immune system is okay. But I'm also told that they might be doing the final pre-op analysis, the pre-op checks. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I got to go in tomorrow. So hopefully I won't be in for very long, and hopefully I'll be out Thursday. So if I'm not here though, it'll be because I'm in hospital for some reason. So I'll obviously let you know. But hopefully it's all going to be okay, and I'll be back on Thursday. And I shall try and de-stress now, and then come back and do it all again. Lazio and Celtic. There's no league game or cup game in between these two Europa League games. It all looks very daft at the moment. Okay, I shall see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for coming. Sorry it didn't end well, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Cheers, guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.